Hi, welcome everybody. Episode 106 of Heavy Metallurgy. Alan, good day, sir.
Good day, Marty. How are we
Oh.
today?
I am doing okay. Yourself?
Not bad, not bad. Kind of a busy day. Still kind of wrapping up loose ends at the end of one semester and getting set for summer classes, but not too bad a day. Glad to be able to plop down and sit here and not move for a while, though, I will admit.
Me too. I'm going to agree. Sitting down, I realized how bad my feet hurt today. I'm like, oh, it feels good to sit down for a minute.
Yeah,
And
for me, it's like the back of the legs, you can be like, oh, yeah, I did walk back and forth across campus like twice today, didn't I? Feeling that a little bit.
sit back on a day and do one of my favorite things, talk about heavy metal with friends. It's a good way to end the week.
Exactly. Hello to folks joining the chat. Folks are filing in as usual. So hope everyone has had a good week and is ready to hang out. We got a fun guest and we've got a fun topic. So everything is set as long as we can all stay awake. We will have a good time with this one, I believe.
Before we start, though, I did want to give a shout out to Jeff over at Gas Masks and Hand Grenades. Yesterday, he did a very lengthy, very extensive interview with Luke LeMay from Gorguts, which I watched the whole thing. Actually, it just kind of worked out the way I could actually watch it, and
nice.
It was crushing. So definitely go check out his interview with Luke. What a passionate and super, super sweet dude. And those guys are also streaming right now talking about doom metal too. So if you don't want to talk about robots, you can go over and check out the doom stuff. We'll be here. We'll here and wait for you over the weekend.
Very cool. Yes. Another shout out, literally over on his art channel has a nice lengthy interview with a friend of the cast, Mark Riddick, where they're talking a lot more on the art side of things and kind of their backgrounds getting into metal. I've gotten through about the first hour of it so far this evening. Really good, really interesting. Mark, of course, really interesting to listen to, really nice guy. And him and Lee, have a really good rapport going on. I'm looking forward to watching the next couple of hours of that sometime this weekend.
I didn't know that launched yet, but I will definitely be watching that this weekend as well.
I think it just popped up around sometime this afternoon because I didn't see it when I was working this afternoon, and while I was starting to get things ready this evening, I was like, "Oh, well, I'm just going to listen to that while I get ready to talk about robots."
Speaking of robots, let's get into our topic and bring our guest. You've seen him here once before. He's got his own channel, Duane, otherwise known as Lazerrus. Welcome, Friday Heavy Metallurgy. Good to have you back,
fellas.
Hey,
hello everybody in the chat. How you guys doing? Good to be here. Thanks for the invite. Always a pleasure to be on the Heavy Metallurgy show. So awesome.
We're very happy to have you back.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome topic. Caught me off guard, which I like. So this should be fun. Should be a lot of fun.
You know what? I'm not sure, but I think maybe Matt over at the Dark Path has also done a robots episode before. I could be wrong.
Is that right?
But if so,
I do steal most of my ideas from Matt. So
right. So if that is the case, you want to see his take on the robot thing, go search around on the Dark Path and see if you can find. I could be jumbling information here. That happens. But Duane, it's a pleasure to have you. And again, and
thank you.
Let's talk about some robots. And I got to say, I got to put out one disclaimer there. Not a lot of robots in black metal.
Yes, some genres will be more represented.
Although ain't that a thought, though? Can you imagine?
I tried. I could not find anything with a robot on.
They're cold, mechanical, unfeeling, kind of set to destroy human life. You'd think robots would be right up their corpse painted alley, and it just doesn't seem to be the case.
Uncharted territory. Hey, darkness.
Hey, if you're sitting in your bedroom alone right now with a Casio, some makeup, and an idea, but you just can't quite figure out how to get your foot in that very crowded, room of one-person black metal projects, you get that one for free. Robot black metal.
Just remember us here.
Right.
Throw us black metal albums don't really do thank you lists. It's more like fuck you lists. Don't want to be on that.
Thank you, Satan. Check.
I'd like to thank Satan and the guys at Heavy Metal are trying me to sing about the one thing: a cold dead heart, a cold dead robot.
One quick thing here, Frosty. I am a week from today. I'm driving to Louisville, Kentucky to play a show. And when we get back from that and things settle, I am finally to the point where I can get the Riddick stuff on press. So couple weeks that will be a thing, and we'll be bugging all you folks to throw some dollars at us because that design is sick. The shirts and the sweatshirts are going to be super sick. Just in time for a hot 90-degree summer, get your heavy metallurgy sweatshirts. But all right. Yep. I hunted and I searched for black metal robots and I could not find any. So if anybody in the chat has a black metal robot suggestion, throw it my way. I'm curious, but I don't really know. We need to set this up much more. Let's
yeah. There's not much of a set. Sometimes we have like a deep philosophical or conversation or reason to delve into something. This topic is purely for fun. It basically got onto our list of proposed topics simply because you see a ton of heavy metal albums about dragons or swords or castles. We were joking about this before coming on. But you never really see, that many robots, but they do feel kind of heavy metal-ish. So it's like,
Heavy
why not robots? So we're here tonight to make sure that robots get the love and respect that I don't know if they deserve it. They're not really living, since apparently they're going to take over the world and be our overlords pretty soon. This is our way of sucking up to them and getting some brownie points ahead of time, so that maybe they don't crush us under their mechanical heel when everybody starts using Chat GPT for too many things.
I can't wait to see the first AI robotic metal band.
I think it's already happened.
People are tinkering with it already. Yeah.
There's one AI band singing about goblins and stuff and
dragons and swords. It's just like
we've got Hollow Dio, right? Hollow Dio, and who else is going hologram now? I heard Tupac. Well,
probably Ozzy eventually.
Ozzy will definitely happen. Sharon's already got that
gravy train. That gravy train is all locked and loaded.
Sharon's got that shit already programmed and ready to roll.
She probably CGI'd him around the same time Lucas was messing with CGI.
They will roll. She will roll that hologram out, and you'll add his actual to give the something.
Yeah, the Ozzy the hologram will speak at his own funeral, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. It will be an electric funeral.
It'll be an electric funeral, exactly.
2 Red Bulls. I'm getting there, folks. We're warming up.
Before we get going here and give Laz the spotlight, there is a question for him here.
Let's see. Gotta ask. I've been watching video on NWOBHM. Yeah. Okay. So number one, Frosty. Thank you for watching me for so long. Holy shit.
I have two. You're one of my inspirations for wanting to even do this. So cheers.
Oh my god. Well, thank you guys. So those Tori Amos LPs, that's going way back. That was, for those that don't know, I don't even remember the title of it, but there's this Tori Amos album. I walked into this Goodwill and I found there was a stack of them, all brand new. They were I don't know, I think maybe 20, 25 copies of it. All brand new for 99.
Oh shit! I remember that.
Yeah. And at the time, this damn album was going for $100, and so I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So totally not what I would buy. But that's the one reason, or that was the one time I was like, "I'm taking them all," and I did. And I came home and I did a video about them, thinking I just had to share. You're not going to believe what I just found. These 20, 25 copies of this record, and so I did. I eBayed them. One right after the other, and I had them all sold off. I think I sent a couple VCLT, but the rest of them got sold, and it was within 4 or 5 months I had them all sold. So
wow,
yeah, it was like turning a $20 bill into five cubbies of metal records. Yeah,
perfect. No, I used to love. I would always watch your stuff. I'm like, God, this guy is so cool, and he shows some really awesome metal records. And then there'd be the good. You'd be like, guys, I just got back from. I got to tell you about this stack. I just couldn't, you always say I just couldn't let him go. I'm like, and then you're showing what Engelbert Humperdinck for $25 or something. I'm like, you could have said no. And you walked out. You didn't need this shit.
Yeah,
little monkey.
Yeah. It's okay to walk away from Pete Mangione records. It's okay.
Yes, he can stay at Goodwill for $25.
It was weird. To this day, I still don't know. Like, how did that get donated to Goodwill? Where did they come from?
Yeah.
There was no record store in the area that closed. Just random, so it was bizarre. I snatched it up.
As you should have. That's that's what you want to do.
Good question. Thanks for asking.
All right. From Tori to robots, this is a perfect segue. So, Duane, start us on the journey. We'll do one at a time and go in circles.
Okay, so everybody watching, first of all, I have to share how this topic came about. So, the topic was brought up. Was it guys day before yesterday? Right?
Yep, a couple of days.
So not a lot of time to prep. Okay?
It might have been yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
It might have been.
Not a lot of time to prep. But here's what I got to share. So when the topic fell in my lap, I was like, robots in metal? Hell yeah, easy. Till I went to pull it, and now I was like, holy hell! You guys would be surprised how little robots are in heavy metal, and that alone made this worth it for me, because I would have thought, oh yeah, I'm going to go through the collection, I'll be pulling records like this, and not the case. So very interesting. Kind of opened my eyes to that. But then I saw that Alan was kind of defining it a little bit by cyborgs are okay, but what was it you said, Alan? The not World of Warcraft.
Warhammer.
Warhammer only counts for Titans and Adeptus Mechanicus. No Space Marines. That's just power armor.
I was going to say that, but Alan beat me to it. So,
and what's funny is there were actually, when I started, there was some cyborg stuff that I passed because I didn't think cyborgs were allowed. So then, anyway, okay.
I figured we could, we can expand. We don't have to have a very narrow definition of robot for this.
John, good call. I didn't even think of Amgod.
So, what's in my hand actually was just mentioned. So that's what I'm going to show first. And that is the wonderful, absolutely phenomenal artwork of Away.
Well, I've got three things to show. Thanks, Duane.
And of course,
you just defeated Marty's entire robot army. Damn it.
And you have to, the cherry on the top of the Voivod cake is the Probot.
Oh, you bastard!
So, which is definitely one of his best. Love that cover. Love this album actually. If anybody's not,
it's a fun record.
Yeah, it's for what it is, it's actually pretty cool. But yeah, I really love the Roar cover. It's that robotic. I don't know, what is that, death machine? Just really, really cool. And then of course, Dimension Hatros. You got
my all-time favorite Voivod record. I love that thing so much.
Yeah, but honestly, I really love the Probot cover. I really do. I just love that cover. So, so there's the low-hanging fruit that I decided to pluck from the tree. Since you're letting me go first there.
Mine's pretty low-hanging too.
Thank you for that.
And as long as Alan doesn't fuck this up, I might actually get it off here.
I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to go with the low-hanging fruit that folks have already requested in the chat. But yes, I'm going to give you one round to go where you should go. And if you don't, it's not your fault.
Yep.
So yeah, like Duane said, this was a topic. Marty and I have kind of had this on our list of, things to propose to guests if they, didn't have something they were really in the mood to dive into, and Duane picked it. I've always thought it'd be a fun topic, but it's similar to Duane. It seemed like an easy idea, and so you sit down and really start thinking on the list. And it's like, well, crap. Where are all the robots in metal? Where are all the robots in heavy metal? I mean, heavy metal, robot, they seem like they fit together just fine, but all we sing about in heavy metal are, dragons and swords and, ladies spanking us with whips, which is always kind of a weird and disturbing subgenre of metal, but we're not going there tonight.
Well, I'm down with that. That's cool.
Anyway, you can do that in 2 weeks when I'm taking the night off. You can have Heavy Metallurgy presents Marty and Mistress Spanks a lot.
Marty breaks in the heavy metallurgy spanking machine. Yes.
It'll just be Marty wearing a pair of assless chaps, twerking for 3 hours.
Yes.
I'm sorry I said that out loud. I'm sorry, everybody. Please don't go.
New shirt
Do
idea.
not unsubscribe just yet. Yeah, if that does not compute, we'll get this back on track. But anyway, yeah. So did find some robots here and there. One of the really famous and I think most obvious ones has to be Autograph. So Kyle, yep.
Damn it!
Here we go. Sorry,
Hajime Soriyama.
Yeah, this one, if you grew up in the 80s, you could not avoid this album. You've seen this picture. It's ingrained in your DNA, right there next to, Daisy Duke and Carrie Fisher and stuff. Yep.
The cover's different. The cover's different. Check it, hold up your, what's that?
Duane's probably got a cool version of it.
It's the same idea, but it's a different robot. Look at yours there.
Yeah, this is the oops, get back up there. Yeah, this is the cover from the second album, 1984, I believe, or 85.
Yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Same album.
But yeah, they of course, had the one big hit, with Turn Up the Radio. That
album just shows her hand. Actually, let's see here.
Bring yours back up, Duane. We'll check the detail. Yes, that one's just got the hand on it. So yeah, that one's got the actual hit on it. But
right.
This is the album that I always saw haunting even by the late 80s. This was in every dollar bin and $3.99 cassette bin in every shopping mall across America. Because this was a good example of one of those bands that I guess in 1984 you could still call this heavy metal with a straight face, alongside things like Quiet Riot and the like. But even just a few years later, this stuff was considered, much too tame, much too laid back. By the late 80s, this was, the stuff that, your older brother or sister had listened to, that you were now ashamed of them for listening to because you were into, thrash or, getting into, early death metal and stuff like that. And there just was no place for, the Autographs or the Quiet Riots of the world by that point. But yeah, in terms of a famous, heavy metal robot, this one does still qualify. Hopefully I didn't just break my phone.
That band always reminded me of like a American Helix. They have a kind of a similar feel, raspy singer. I don't know. Good stuff. It's good. Solid.
Yeah, they're is it the third or fourth album, the white cover, and it shows the band on the cover and the Autograph logo is a little different, but that album rocks. They got a little heavy there for a bit. But that artist, Alan, Hajime Soriyama, got his start on Heavy Metal Magazine. He would do covers for Heavy Metal Magazine with that same style of robot. And a little trivia for those that don't know, if you're an Aerosmith fan, you will find that same robot that Autograph used on their album Just Push Play. They used it for that cover on their album. So it almost looks like it should be an Autograph album, but it's not. It's an Aerosmith record. So
okay, I've seen that. I had forgotten all about that.
It's kind of pink. It's got a pink background.
I remember seeing that somewhere at some point and mistakenly thinking, like, wait a second, that kind of looks like the
same robot.
Yep. Okay.
Female robot with the points coming out the side of her head and everything. Same artist, everything.
Very cool. Did not know that. All right, Marty. So you take your shot.
Take my shot.
Take your shot. You know what you want to show.
So this is a twofer.
Yep.
First, we'll start with this.
Yep.
I knew that's why I didn't pull it. I knew you were going to pull that.
Yep.
Do you have this one, Duane?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait. Open yours. Okay. Yeah, we have the same one. See how the CDs push onto those little spindles?
Yeah.
There's another version where the CDs fit in a pocket.
Oh.
So there's two different versions of that earbook.
Well, I gotta say, Helloween have had their moments of really killer covers, but there's a long dry spell, really stupid shit, and this is kind of one of them. I hate to say it because I really love this album. I know Alan.
Mhm.
Alan would maybe disagree with me. Like
No, that one's decent. No, that one's pretty good. I like that one.
the last couple songs, it starts to drop a little in quality, but man, banger
Mm.
after banger, and then even the bonus songs here are all really good. I mean, really good.
Mhm.
So yeah, I wanted to get this fired off here, hopefully before Duane did. I figured it was in his stack, and I got one more from the same band. We got the song "Robot King" that Michael Viketh wrote for this album. So yeah,
I actually didn't think of that.
I didn't either.
that was
Yeah.
a last ditch. Like, oh shit, that's right.
Yeah, good one.
So,
Yeah.
yep, Robot King and My God Given Right. So yeah, everybody roll your eyes. Another Helloween reference on Heavy Metallurgy.
Oh, you
Suck
know
it.
it was going to happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought, and see, Marty, when you said twofer, I thought you were going this way because that's that hand there.
Oh shit, I didn't even know that was a robot.
That is not a human hand, and when you look at the
That
face
is a
and
robot,
stuff,
yeah.
this is not a person holding that rabbit. This
Damn
is
it.
some kind of mannequin / robot / android something or other. So yeah, I thought
And
you'd
I-
go this way,
I
but
love
Robot
that
King's a good. Robot
I love it
King's a good
too.
call.
I think it's a great record.
Now this one, this one I'm not too nuts about this album. It's a
such
little lower
good
on my list.
record.
They really, I don't know. We're not going to go there, and this could degenerate into a.
We've covered that ground before.
We've been on it multiple times, but all right, Duane, you're back.
Okay, I want to show one that this is one of my favorite bands, one of my favorite album covers, period, out of any heavy metal record. This is one of my favorite covers. And this is actually a mascot that I think is one of the coolest mascots. I mean, of course, you know, my love of Eddie and everyone's love of Eddie and whatnot, but this is one of the coolest mascots. And there's a movie called Hardware that this mascot reminds me of the monster that's in this movie called Hardware. But who I'm talking about is the sound chaser from Rage, Perfect Man.
Bastard.
Nice call. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
'Cause that is just such a cool freaking cover.
it is
Mhm.
very cool.
Yes, and yeah, kind of an unsung mascot by an unsung band.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you fear the winter?
Mm-hmm. I will keep you safe and warm.
Good one. Good one. Good one. All right, Alan.
Okay. I'll show this one because this has also already been requested in the chat. Let's see, kind of two-man super group thing. Alan Land has been done for several years with Bjorn Land and Russell Allen doing, more sort of, power metal stuff. Both obviously, fantastic vocalists, and they work really well together. Their album covers always tend to feature two giant things fighting each other, two big dinosaurs or two big sea monsters or whatever. But for their album The Revenge, they have big robotic monsters. So
That's
now
cool
these-
cover too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool robots going at it full force here. But yeah, the project is a very good one. If you like either of these guys in any of the projects, Russell Allen, of course, long time with Symphony X, and Bjorn Land's been in several different projects. He's got his own band. He was with Master Plan for several of their albums. If you like anything that either of these guys have done, this is worth checking out. The songs are good. If there's a drawback, they can be a little bit samey from album to album. If you have one of their albums, you have a pretty good feel what all of them are going to be like. Yep. But yeah, it's very good stuff. Shouldn't be overlooked. And the albums are always easy spots. You'll always have, two giant things, attacking each other claw and tooth, which maybe gives the wrong impression because by all accounts, they get along quite well in the band. I don't think there's any battle of egos going on here at all. So yeah, and this was something we'll see. I did find more robots in kind of the traditional and power metal directions than some of the others tonight. So kind of an interesting trend. We'll see what the score is. We've already kind of ruled out almost all black metal. We'll see if we can find some robots in some other styles though too.
I like that cover, Alan. The alien planet landscape there that just totally reminds me of like the Praying Mantis album cover.
You're exactly right, Duane. Especially with the big ringed planet kind of up there in the corner in the background too. Yeah, very much has that that kind of feel to it.
And if nobody has heard Jorn's vocal work on the first 2 Master Plan records, oh my God.
Oh yeah,
dude, it is so good. His vocal performance is so good on that stuff. Really, really great records for sure. All right, that brings me up. Which way am I going to go? I'm going to go. Well, let's keep it power metal. Let's keep it in Germany.
Oh, I know what's coming. Damn it! Thanks. Yep, son of a bitch.
yours is way cooler than mine. I gotta say, a lot of people like this record. I am still the one that came before it is so good. Hypertrace is such a monumental power metal record. Almost anything they could have done afterwards would have paled in comparison. And this, to me, does pale in comparison. This gets a little sillier. I mean, obviously from the cover artwork, this is, more typical. It almost looks like an Ed Guy album cover, something going on here. But
but see, that's what I think a lot of people and a lot of fans kind of say that about this record. But I look at it as, they're so Helloween that's kind of what's happening here. Helloween's always had that bit of comedic, funniness about them. And I think that's kind of what they were going for with this. Instead of a pumpkin, they're using the robot, but in that, kind of comedic atmosphere there. So I don't think it's meant to be taken serious.
I think you're right. And obviously they were trying to walk in the footsteps, but me and Alan have talked before. The Helloween, they've got a humorous side to them, but they always could get away with it because they pull it off really well.
Yeah.
Really super. This here, there's a song about getting junk food, and wait, that's Assassin. I'm confusing.
There's the buy or die song.
Yeah, the buy or die. Yeah.
Being too much of a consumer and kind of a goofy, tongue-in-cheek way. Yeah, it's that album. I haven't played it in a long time. My recollection is about half the tracks are pretty good German power metal from that era. But the other half, like you were saying, Marty, they're trying to tap into that funny Dr. Stein, vein of Helloween. And they just don't quite hit the mark right. Even that's the cover art there with the robot in the center. But when you look closely, you've got, there's a little puppy dog peeing on it. And everybody's just kind of standing there gawking at the robot. And the robot looks like, somebody should pick him up, take him in a bathroom and give him a swirly as it is, which is a hard look for a robot to pull off. Yet somehow that one looks like enough of a doofus that, you just want to take his lunch money. It just does. It was one of the first things I thought of for the topic too. But that album just doesn't quite get there for me either. A lot of bands try to do the Helloween happy, silly thing. Not a lot of them do it particularly well.
There's an animated film that came out in the 80s that's very similar to like the movie Heavy Metal, the animated film Heavy Metal. But it's called Orin, Star Chaser, The Legend of Orin is what it's called. And you can even stream the whole movie free on YouTube. But there's a female robot in that film that looks almost just like this robot. This is what I always think of when I watch that damn movie. So maybe that also kind of has something to do with why I like that. But Marty, have you ever listened to this? This is Mental Reservation by Scanner.
Yep, I have all their records.
Oh my God. This next to the first album, this is
really good.
My favorite.
Yeah, that one kind of gets them back on track.
And their last one too, The Judgment, is really good. It may be their second best record. It really feels like it's when did that come out? I have it pulled up here. It came out in 2015. I thought it was really solid, had that older Hypertrace feel to it. I was quite impressed with it. Yeah, I've got them all. I love the band. I think they're great. They really haven't gotten a fair share. I wish they were a little more prolific, but they're not.
I would love to get that Mental Reservation on vinyl.
Oh yeah, did that even? It had to have come out on vinyl.
Yep.
Yep.
It is. Yep. But it's a triple digit, buy.
Ouch. Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding
Kyle,
me.
That's a good call for a robot, Kyle. But yeah, I don't think we can show that one on screen. YouTube may not appreciate that one.
Right.
That is a good one, but yeah.
All right, Duane.
All
You're
right.
up.
Well, I pulled this one because I figured why the hell not, but this is Dio, Angry Machines.
Oh, good one.
Nice.
And I like that one because it's got that 50s, what's the word I'm looking for? The that 50s comic book kind of style of robot. The what are those the small magazines? What are those called? Like Asimov and Amazing Stories and Amazing Adventures. Yeah, thank you. That's like a Pulp Fiction robot right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but and then of course Angry Machines. So.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely a different for Dio. I mean, we all know Dio as dragons, medieval fantasy, and whatnot. And here he throws out this. I think the only other thing that would be close to this would be the oh god, what's the purple record? The one that's really dark.
Magica? No.
No.
Chasing the Dragon or something. The Dragon.
No.
Strange Highways.
Strange Highways. Thank you. Strange Highways. So, but yeah, I mean that's. I remember when I was a kid, robots. This is was my introduction to robots when I was a kid, especially with the pincher claws, and it makes me think of like Lost in Space, that robot, Robbie the robot, that kind of robot is what I'm picturing here with this. So, but. That one. So
I do not own that Dio record. I think I've heard stuff from it, but it hit me at a time where I was in death and black metal land, and I'm like, yeah, I like the classic Dio, I like Sabbath, I like Rainbow, but I could care less about this era.
This is one of those Dio records where I would describe it as the talent is amazing. It's Ronnie James. The vocals are amazing.
Always.
Problem. Forgettable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
he started to lose me around Dream Evil. There's some good stuff on there, but I'm just like, I just don't know if I care much, Yeah. And
when I say forgettable, I mean that's not like it's horrible. It's just it doesn't have that. Like even I own it, and even looking at it, I don't go, oh yeah, track 4. No, yeah, no. It's like, yeah, it's okay. Put it on.
When you're in the mood for Dio, you're not necessarily grabbing that one.
It's not the first grab,
yeah,
no.
Yeah.
Unless, though, I do sometimes, that's where I'm at now in my age and my collection, though, where sometimes now I do purposefully pull the stuff that I wouldn't normally pull because, it's just, we get to that point where, yeah, I could hear Holy Diver, but I could also recite it, write it, play it, Maybe I want something different, but.
Yep.
Yeah, so. Angry Machines, Dio.
Good one. Never would have. I don't own it, so I wouldn't have thought to pull it. All right.
I'm going to go a little deeper this time. This is one of the albums that definitely had me thinking robots. Yeah, I gotta agree with that, Marty. Dream Evil is still a really good album.
I like it. I just never care to listen to it. I'm always whenever I listen to Dio, it's Rainbow Rising. That's where I'm at right now. I pull that or Mob Rules. Those are the two Dio records I pull, or Sabbath or Rainbow.
And that's fair, but that doesn't mean we disparage Dream Evil. But yeah, let's go with possibly the most awesome robot I will show tonight on an album I've never heard anybody mention, by a band I've never heard anybody mention. But when we think, yes, early 80s, metal, nobody really immediately thinks Riff Raff's Robot Stud. Now that right there, that's a robot. This is a Finnish band from, and one of the earliest Finnish heavy metal bands. They were active in the real early 80s. This is their second album. The first one was a kind of maybe a little more AC/DC, hard rockish. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, this one is for you. I knew if anybody could appreciate the Robot Stud, it would be you, Ryan.
They covered Kids in America.
That might be someone else. I just pulled it up. I don't know if that was relevant to this or not.
Huh.
They did. There's a cover on the third album. I don't remember what it is offhand. This is the second album. All you
Jim
need to know
Wild.
about this is you guys know Accept, right?
Oh yeah.
Then you know what this sounds like. This is a group of guys in Finland deciding we are going to try to sound exactly like Accept in 1982. So that era of Accept. Nothing wrong with it. It is not the most amazing album in the world. Not going to lie, but yeah, if you want a Finnish Accept clone, like 5 years before most of the Finnish heavy metal scene was really up and running, Robot Stud is the way to go. I mean, he's got the cool laser gun. It all works.
With the name of the album, I don't know if that's a laser gun, but yeah, okay.
Now, Duane, sometimes a laser incinerator is just a laser incinerator. But yeah, they did a third album after this too, with a fantastic title called "Give the Dead Man Some Water." It's got a horrible cover, no robot, but it's actually a bit more of a burner. It's a little more aggressive. They're getting a little bit more into like the mid '80s European metal vibe. Whereas again, this one feels a lot like Accept, and the first album, if anything, feels a little bit more like maybe late '70s AC/DC. They were still kind of in that rock metal transition, so they kind of got progressively heavier, faster, followed the time. But yeah, if you're going to check one out for musical quality, you probably want to hear the third album. But if you just want to have one of the most badass, sexy looking robots imaginable on your shelf, this is the one to get.
That's got my interest. I'm gonna have to look that up, Alan.
When's the last time you listened to that? When's the last time you listened to that gem?
Last night.
When he pulled it for this video.
Just to refresh myself on it. It's one of those. Yes, it does not come off the shelf often. Every couple of years I'll take him out. Now, Give the Dead Man Some Water. That one is, if I want to play Riff Raff, that's the album I want to play.
I could see, if your steel is true, showing up to like Prog Power wearing a Riff Raff back patch.
If anybody out there has a Riff Raff back patch on their battle jacket, wow, that's hard to say. Riff Raff backpack, but does not compute. Anybody's got that? Send me a picture, and I will send you some VCLT.
Riff Raff battle jacket back patch.
What Duane said.
It's probably out there. I wouldn't be surprised.
I've got a baseball jersey Randy shirt. So yeah, somebody out there has a Robot Stud patch on their vest. I wish it was me, but it's not.
What's more impressive than the person that owns the one Riff Raff back patch is the person that comes up behind him and goes, "Dude, you like Riff Raff too?
Dude, where'd you get that back patch, man?
Too." Yeah. Check out my Riff Raff tramps.
I kind of skipped I skipped the Riff Raff, back patch. I just went straight for the T-shirt that just says Robot Stud.
All right.
Yeah, right here.
Well, I got a threefer that's going to make people mad. People are all calling out all the only ones left, really.
Damn it, I see it already. God damn it.
Yep.
We got the Terminator 2 before Terminator 2 with Stained Class. We got Defenders of the Faith, which I'm assuming. I don't want to show that one yet.
That's a robot. Hell yes.
That's a robot. Yeah. It's got a tank thing going.
Asking for a
Metallion.
A judge called earlier, and absolutely.
The Hellion.
Yep. The Hellion and the Metallion are definitely robots.
So yeah, I mean, we could go talk about these records, but there's no real point. We did a very extensive dive.
Frank, you do not, you lie. But I see what you did there.
That is funny. What were you going to say, Duane, about the...
If I can add to your priest pick here just really quick.
Go for it.
So yeah, obviously, Hellion and Metallion. I didn't pull the vinyl because these were just right there. But I also pulled British Steel. Okay. And the reason I pulled them, not just for the Metallion and the Hellion, but the tracks you have Electric Eye.
Oh.
Screaming for Vengeance, which is all robotic.
Yep.
And then on British Steel, Metal Gods, which is about giant robots.
Yep.
And I've never forgotten that there was an interview I saw with Rob Halford way back in the day, and he completely ruined that song for me because of this interview, and it pisses me off to this day because I used to love that song. And so here, let me ruin it for everybody else. And that is that in that track, when you hear the robots stomping, boom, boom, right? Okay, they recorded how they came up with that sound was Rob Halford in the kitchen with a tray of silverware slamming it on the counter, and they recorded it. And so now every time I hear that song, that's what I hear. There's a tray of silverware being slammed on a counter, and it's ruined me ever since. So anyway, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I remember that too. And you're right. You go from like, picturing like, Titanic, monstrosity striding across the world to just seeing Rob sitting there like ching, 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 ching with a bunch of forks and knives. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Duane, you're up.
Oh, just yep. Oh, yeah.
He was commenting on my priest.
Well, I am going to piggyback on the priest with this band, which is very priestly.
Oh my God! If it's what I think it is, nope, it's not.
But that is Riot City, and
I need to get those. I still have not.
Very, the first album, which is very Hellion inspired, obviously. Oh, yeah. The laser shooting robotic bird, but then also the new album, which is fabulous, by the way.
Oh yeah.
In fact, speaking of Priest, it's not the same song, but there's a song Tyrant on here, which is just stellar. But the robotic leopard there, so the laser shooting out. Obviously, that's going to be a thing for them. It looks like going forward is robotic animals with laser beam eyes, I guess. But
we can only hope.
But very, very Priest inspired to me when I see these album covers. You can't help but think of Defenders of the Faith and Screaming for Vengeance and whatnot. So good time to show those, I guess.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good one. All right, Al.
Yeah, Ben knows.
Right. People in the comments, a lot of like the Painkiller, Biker Angel, and they've got a lot of robot type stuff going on.
Yeah, I was going to circle back to Priest a little bit for a couple of others.
Firepower,
the classic ones, but Firepower. Now here definitely a solid robot thing going on. And where do we stand on Painkiller? Because I thought about pulling it, but I'm not. Is that a robot? Is it some kind of otherworldly humanoid entity in like a metal suit? Is it some kind? I wasn't really sure.
It's actually angelic, isn't it? It's got wings, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's a robot. It's metal. I'm looking at the picture. Here, let me see if I can pull it up here.
Sure. Yeah. There were a couple of things I came across that were winged like that, Duane, and I had the same reaction. I was like, I don't think I can count that. If it's got feathery looking wings, I think that's disqualified from the robot category.
It's metallic. You can't really zoom in on it that well here.
It's kind of Silver Surfery.
Yeah,
kind of. Yep. It is. It could maybe be a robot, but I'm thinking it's some kind of angel and just some kind of battle armor suit. But I don't have a whole lot to back that up with.
Jeremy says Painkiller, not a robot. The caps means he's serious. A serious business.
Okay. We've got one vote for not a robot. I also had to leave it out. So I disqualified that one. Yeah, we did have specific rules about what did not count as robots. No knights in armor. Nobody's pulling that shit tonight. That is not a robot.
All right. Oh, you're still up, Alan. You want to continue there? Or?
Oh, sure. Let's see. Someone mentioned a song title a minute ago that tied into something I had. Yeah, with the Hellion Electric Eye kind of song concept, obviously being big robotic thing watching you. Well, there's a German power metal band who took that one song concept and has turned it into about 9 or 10 albums at this point, and that's Iron Savior.
I like Iron Savior. They're really good.
Yeah.
I like them, but their albums tend to run together.
Their first album is so good, and there's a handful of early ones are really, really excellent.
Yeah. They kind of started, rehashing the same idea pretty rapidly. It felt like, but yeah, this was, at the time, kind of a side project for Kai Hansen. He had gotten back together with Pete Silk. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but he had helped form Helloween with Kai way back in the day before they were even known as Helloween. But life, became a thing. So, Pete kind of got, out of being a musician, more into, recording, producing, doing other stuff. But then, yeah, I got back together with Kai in the late 90s and started Iron Savior. Really good project, but yeah, it's all kind of one big, long concept when the central thing is that, yeah, you have this big Hellion electric eye inspired, satellite robot AI thing that's, trying to oppress mankind, and mankind's fighting back, and there's, stuff and things happen back and forth, and 9 albums later the story seems to still be going. So yes, in terms of, if you want a really long running kind of a robot sci-fi inspired soap opera battle thing, I think it was Charles earlier was talking about, like, the old BattleTech novels and stuff. If you want to go down that kind of a long-term story arc, then Iron Savior. There's a lot of albums, and yeah, the albums aren't bad at all. I don't mean to crap on them. They just feel, if you've heard one, you've got a pretty good idea of what they're all going to be like. And with the story continuing on and on and on, it kind of makes them feel even more similar in a way. But I just picked this one because it was a different one besides the self-titled to show for a change.
Right on. All right, I'm going to keep it going in Germany here. And another band that has been milking it and putting out the same records for a long time, and that would be Primal Fear.
Good call.
Well, let's go with Jaws of Death here. He's got a big old mechanical. Oh, by the way, inquiring minds, the Sex Condor shirt. It's coming. It's coming. Not literally.
But progress is being made.
Something is happening in that front, but we have to get the Riddick going here too. Anyway, yeah. And if you've never heard Primal Fear,
that's a cool set. I've not seen that set.
Yeah, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 CD set. Well, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's like a bonus thing here too. Their first 5 records.
Oh wow.
It's eBay, pretty cheap. I don't know how official it is. This came out on I can't read it. It's dark in here. My eyes are not what they once were. But these guys, Ralph Sheppers, who was in Gamma Ray on the first 3 Gamma Ray records. Great singer, joined Primal Fear. There's a lot of Priest going on in this. It's German power metal with a Priest affinity, and Ralph's vocals are tip-top, Siren, Halford-esque. Great. I mean, this shit's great. I said their albums can get kind of redundant, but it's still all quality. It's quality. It's good. I enjoy listening to them. I stumbled across this on eBay for a reasonable price. I figured this was a cheap way to jump in without having to buy because I do like reissues, but stuff like this I kind of want. I don't know why. I want originals of it, but anyway. So I got this as a placeholder. But,
so
yeah,
well,
it's fun.
The thing with Primal Fear, though, Marty, is vinyl-wise, that is a band that came out in the age of CD, and so they weren't pressed on vinyl. So a lot of the vinyl, I've got most of the catalog on vinyl now, and it's their reissues, but they're also first time on vinyl.
Gotcha.
So don't feel bad buying them.
Yep. Right on. It's a good band, and I don't mean to talk down, cast shade on them because they're very good. And I saw them live once too. They're great.
Yeah, Ralph auditioned for Priest and lost out to Ripper Owens, and he would have been a perfect.
He would have been great.
Too,
Yep. Yeah. He'd probably still be with them. Well, he wouldn't be because Halford would have come back. But yeah. All right, Duane, you're back. I need to run in. I just thought of another idea here. I'm going to go grab.
Got it. Okay, let's go with, this is a big changing point for this band, but what an awesome changing point it turned into, because this album is legendary and classic, and even down to the comic book style cover art, but Thundersteel by Riot.
Yeah, I have that on my stack too. Good call.
The robotic sentry tank treaded gunner there. So it's totally the art and everything on this kind of reminds me of Alan, you're an old role player like me, aren't you? Just
A little
play
bit.
role-playing games. So do you remember a game called Gamma Ray or Gamma World?
No, don't know that one.
Okay, it was another TSR game like Dungeons and Dragons, but it was futuristic, and
Oh, okay.
so a lot of art like this was in that game, and so that's what I think of. But this is
Bastard.
this album aged so well. Yeah.
It's a great record.
This is one you just don't get tired of. You just don't get tired of. So, is it the coolest art ever?
Maybe
Not
not.
really, but
Maybe the coolest Riot record cover ever.
yeah.
It's missing the seal, so nah.
Is it?
It does not
is
get
it
the seal
missing
of
it?
approval.
Is it really missing it?
Yes.
Yeah. But this was such a turning point for this band,
Mhm.
and it just, man, I wish, that there were two or three albums in this really kind of followed each other in this style. And then, but man, I wish they were still,
Mhm.
like Thundersteel. I know a lot of the newer stuff is kind of real power metal-y too, but there was just something special about this album.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I like the one after that a lot too, but it's a little over the top for some folks, and I get that.
yeah.
But yeah. Now, just to be clear, Duane, we're Tank Man robot, gas mask machine gun girl, not robot.
Right.
She's just wearing a mask and carrying a big
Yep.
weapon. But
Yeah.
he's
It's
literally
all about the guy. Yeah. all
Yeah,
about
he is.
the
He
guy.
is. He's not riding the tank. He's not inside the tank.
He is the
This is.
tank.
Yeah, he is part of the tank. So that's definitely robot material right
Yep.
there.
I never understood artists' desire to make robots, have muscles or like an autographs case, big old boobs. Because
I think we understand the second one. The first,
to get prepubescent boys to buy the record, yeah, okay. But all right, Alan, you're up.
all right, another one from the chat. Chat's got a lot of good ideas for robots tonight, and I've got some of those. So trying to keep up with the chat here. And actually, Duane, I thought the way you were kind of setting up Riot, I thought you might be about to show this one. Eddie on Somewhere in Time. Eddie goes from kind of, horror creature, he's been through some iterations, but this one definitely going for some kind of cyborg-ish thing. A lot of wires and metal parts.
See, I would
augmenting.
maybe argue this one because he looks more humanoid than machine.
We said cyborgs count, and cyborgs,
Okay.
kind of,
Absolutely cyborg. Yeah.
yeah. If cyborgs count, then this one's in. If we disallow cyborgs, then yeah, I would not have included this one. I always thought it was a fantastic take on Eddie, and actually, Duane, circling back to your role playing inquiry. I forget which game it was, but there was a future space sci-fi campaign I did with some guys where the character I rolled up was just based on not this piece of artwork, but the artwork for the one of the singles off of this, the one where he's got the duster and the,
Stranger in a Strange Land.
Yes, I basically that picture I just showed it to the DM, just like I want to make a character. This is what my character is going to look like. We'll have to figure out what the heck it actually does, but visually, this is what I'm going for. So, yeah, managed to tie it back in. He just kind of looked as like, okay, sure. Well, is it a robot or what? I'm just like, that's a good question. So even back then, we had to try to figure out what Eddie was in this incarnation. But yeah, cool art. Not my favorite Iron Maiden album. We've covered this ground, many times before. It's an album that I think, for a lot of people has aged well. It's ranked a lot higher than it was 20 years ago by many people. It's just a little long, slow, dull for me personally. For this era of Iron Maiden, I love Seventh Son. And then this one has some songs I like, but it's not quite the album for me, despite the fantastic art.
It is an incredible piece of art.
Yeah, all this, the little detail hiding. In the
It's
background.
crazy.
Yeah, I think
Maddening.
Rick said it took him like 6 months to paint that thing or something. It was just
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. I'm up next. Let's go with Canadian Thrashers. Razor, Evil
Oh,
Invaders.
that's a good one. I didn't think of that. That's a
I
good
didn't
one.
think of that either.
And this, unlike Eddie, it's actually a robot underneath with skin over the top.
Blown Terminator.
Yeah, that's a Terminator kind of a deal. That counts. Oh yeah.
Yep. And great Canadian thrash. I remember first time I heard this band, it was watching Canada's Much Music, the Pepsi Power Hour back in the day. I've said the story many times. My parents lived in the woods. I grew up with 1.5 channels. And when they made those giant satellite dishes, you get like this 12-foot satellite dish you put out, and you could pick up every channel ever made before they scrambled everything. So my parents had it for about a year before they scrambled shit. So I would always watch the Pepsi Power Hour, and I saw this video for Evil Invaders, and it's cheesy, it's cool. I'm like, wow, this is a good thrashing song. Looks like John Mantis on the motorcycle here, doesn't it? A little bit. Same.
Yeah, it does.
The back of black metal. Anyway, yeah, this is a classic. Good one. Way better than this. Man, people, this has got a lot of love, and man, this album, every song they're going to beat your ass, and you're going to pay, and they're going to.
I still have not heard that.
It's so average, man. I don't know. Anyway, Evil Invaders, Razor.
Yeah, I haven't heard the new one either, but yeah, a lot of the early reviews for it, were exactly what you just said, Marty. Like, I don't really want to hear a lot of 55-year-old guys talk about how they're going to just kick my ass in every single song.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to wonder sometimes, when something like that comes out, is it, oh my God, it's so good because it's good, or is it, oh my God, it's so good because I can't believe Razor put out a new album?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And the fans are just excited,
There's no way in hell people are still pulling that. Oh, I got to listen to that new Razor again. The newness wears off. The VC, the hype machine is real. One person shows the new Razor, 15 other people show the new Razor, and then it's never spoken of again, unless I'm showing it saying this album is overrated and boring. It's just it's just the way the hype machine and the VC and the metal VC goes. But anyway, Duane, you're back.
Oh, my turn again. Okay. I want to show this because any chance to show this album, I'm all down for it. This was my album of the year.
Sorry, Duane,
when this came out.
Duane, before you show, sorry to interrupt, but this is a good question. I don't know if somebody's pulled this or not. I thought about this one and I said no.
I actually pulled that to look because I thought of that initially as well. And when I looked at it, no, she's not a robot. She's in like a those chambers you sleep in for long space travel.
Yeah, like one of those cryogenic stasis.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. She looks human.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If nothing else, they have the bar covering her breasts, and if you're a robot, you don't have to do that. So, if she was a robot, they wouldn't have that bar there because it's okay to show robot breasts on an album cover. That's what I'm told, anyway. Yep. See, strategically placed things to make sure that human nudity is covered. We don't have to cover robotic nudity.
Well, the thing of it is, she's not in a cryogenic chamber. She's strapped to it. She's underneath it. Her arms are outside of it. It's a weird concept picture.
I'm going to keep this out because I'm actually going to show something very similar to this.
That's a great record, by the way.
Oh my God. Yeah. The first two Crimson Glories are
awesome. Yep.
Good stuff.
Okay. But this album, so what I'm going to show here, this was my album of the year when this came out, and I love it dearly. And if you guys are unfamiliar with it, both of you, Alan and Marty, please give this album a listen because it is freaking phenomenal. The band is Lord Vigo, and the album is Dance Day Noir.
I've heard this. I've heard people mention this, but I've never checked it out.
They are a melodic doom, but this is their Blade Runner record. This album, the whole album is inspired by Blade Runner, Off-World AD, Dance Day Noir, Are You Human, Fiery Angels Fell, Shoulder of Orion, Memento Mori, which is a phenomenal song.
I was just given the Lord Vigo CD. It might be that one. I haven't. I'm so far behind on listening. It might be that.
Oh, this album is phenomenal. But I love that cover art. Obviously robotic, but it's also Geiger-esque,
Yep.
biomechanical. It's just such a damn good record. This is they have an album after this that came out last year, I think it was. Good as well, but this is just phenomenal.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll check that out. I think I remember people talking about the new one last year, and it just never quite made it onto the playlist.
Yeah, there's a music video that they did for which one?
I gotta say, right here is the comment of the night. Hold on.
About the whole biomechanical. There you go.
Robot breasts are like mannequin breasts. I love how Tim came in with this one, like he's checked, and he's made a fact sheet and a spreadsheet and found out that this is true. I love it. What a great guy. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, what do we think about Pretext's question? Yeah, what about did anybody consider the any of the Geiger inspired artwork? Because it's got a mechanical thing to it. I kind of thought about Triptychon briefly, but I did not pull it.
So that's kind of like
metal wise, what? It's Celtic Frost, right? To Megatherian. But that's not. That's more of Geiger's Baphomet-y, Satani, kind of cover. I don't really think of, you had Emerson, Lake, and Palmer used Geiger art.
Yep.
Hell, I got one right here, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Danzig used
Debbie Harry right there. This is a Geiger painting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. How was that record?
Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, we got.
I try with that record, and I still to this day I can't get it. So
yeah, Carcass did a Geiger, but that's definitely not a robot. That's just
it's a sculpture. Yeah.
Yeah, that's stuff.
All right. Are you good, Duane? You want me to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Alan.
Let's see, Frank. Looking at my New Wave of British collection, I got no robots beyond the Maiden. Okay, Frank, I got you covered because I actually have a New Wave of British heavy metal robot booted up, inspired by Marty's Razor pick. So, Razor was not necessarily the first band to use kind of the Terminator look. Razor might have done it slightly cooler, but Rogue Male to the punt.
Isn't there a song on there called Crazy Motorcycle? I remember my buddy had that on tape back in high school.
Yeah, it's goofy. This is one that, even though it's obviously not a big name band or anything, a lot of people know this record.
I love that band.
A lot of people, and it is one of those that a lot of people, they kind of like it. Sometimes the cover gets on those lists of worst album covers of all time kind of things. Because you got you kind of the mullet Terminator thing going on here,
Mullinator. Yeah.
But yeah, it's reason for, especially for something from new wave of British heavy metal era. It's relatively heavy. It's got a gruffer, rawer sound to it. Not bad at all. So yeah, musically it's kind of fun. Cover, it's kind of fun, and it's definitely a robot. So it just kind of checks all the boxes. But I don't have the original of this, so I had to pull up the picture. But when you showed the Evil Invaders, Marty's is like, oh, I know what I'm showing next. Going for the same style.
Ryan says Robo Joe Dirt.
They are.
Yes, it is.
Their whole thing was Road Warrior.
Yeah.
Rogue Male was like, we're going to do Road Warrior metal, and that's basically what they did. And they have a bit of a Motorhead sound to them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Band. Love that band.
Motorhead's not a bad comparison point at all. And there were a lot of bands that did that whole Mad Max kind of vibe around there. Carnivore was doing it, Rogue Male was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's something we need to do sometime. Post-apocalyptic. You had Plasmatics, had a little bit of that look.
Johnny Touch.
That's a good album.
I like that album.
I love the Johnny Touch record.
There's nothing wrong with the Johnny Touch record.
Nothing wrong with Johnny Touch.
It is a beloved meme here among the heavy metallurgy offerings.
Yes, it is
for sure. So Frank, it took me a while. I was thinking Savage, Loose, and Lethal, but looking at that guy is not a robot. That's another one that's in Mad Max mode. for the cover art, but it's no robot. But Rogue Mail's got us covered. All right, Marty.
All
on to
right.
you.
Let's go with this one. Realm, Endless War.
Good choice.
Ooh.
Good choice.
Got a little mechanized
Yeah.
horse. I thought it would be like a Trojan horse, but it's not. I don't really quite get what's going on here, but
Some people would say that about Realm's music as well.
right. You know what? I don't mind this record. I think they're really good,
no.
other than point deduction for the Eleanor Rigby cover.
Oh, big point deduction for that.
Big point. If you're a thrash band or a metal band, like let's cover a Beatles song.
Leave the Beatles alone.
Leave the Beatles alone. And Eleanor Rigby, fuck off. God, just fuck off. I mean, I saw these guys open for Death Angel and Forbidden on the Twisted into Form tour. They were great. They're really good. And this is a good band. And I like this record. I just wish
cool
right
album.
smack dab track 6 out of a 12-track album. Track 6, Eleanor Rigby. Fuck off.
That is an odd place to put it. I mean, if you want to stop the flow of your record,
Yeah.
put Eleanor Rigby right in the middle of
Right
it.
in the middle. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing you've got to work around. And I had it on cassette too, so it wasn't easy to work
They
around.
were still working.
Yeah.
Unless you had the fancy deck that had the track skip on it, but yeah.
I did not.
That is an unofficial Russian CD. Yes, I've got about 6 or 7 Russian boots, and that is one of them because I wasn't about to pay top dollar for an OG CD. So,
Oh, this is cool. I didn't. I'd heard rumors they might do something like that, but they did some gigs. Cool.
ugh.
Hopefully they didn't cover Eleanor Rigby at those gigs.
Well, you selected the Ethel the Frog, did Eleanor Rigby. There you go.
Oops, right. Sorry.
Yep.
The comment moved at the last second on me. Ethel the Frog did a lot of things they shouldn't have done.
All right, Duane.
First, they named their band Ethel the Frog.
Yep. Ugh. So stupid. I'll be right back.
Yeah. You know what, though? You don't forget the name Ethel the Frog, though.
It sticks with you. It does.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the first.
hard to- yeah.
I think that's the first rule of branding. Come up with a name that people won't forget. But I think the second rule is come up with a name that people will like.
True. Okay, let's see. Which one do I want to show here? See, this is one. I don't know if this is robot or not. It's got to be a robot. It's got to be. Okay. I'm going to show it. Even when I pulled it, I wasn't sure if it's a robot or not, but it's got to be. Yeah. Okay. All right. How about Kick-Axe Vices? The Vice guy, he's even in their video. He's got the box body with the bolts, you know.
Yeah, I'm good with that being a robot.
Chat, tell us, is that a robot or not?
Does anybody want to
Animated, he's alive, kind of, but it's he's a machine. He's made out of machinery. I don't know.
I think it can. Again, not every robot has to look like anthropomorphic, humanoid at all. Most most real robots don't look anything like
Robot
people.
or not, it's not a good cover.
No, absolutely not.
That's a separate issue.
And even the animated one in the video is even worse. But yeah. But okay, so I showed that one.
All right, Alan.
All right. There's one big one no one has shown yet, but I want to leave it there in case one of y'all is kind of slow rolling that one. Here's a good one. I'm pretty sure this is a robot. There's a small chance it's not, but I think everyone's knee-jerk reaction when they see it is definitely robot. Do some classic 80s power metal. Liege Lord's Master Control.
Everyone, now hold on.
Exactly. Everyone's knee-jerk reaction is robot, but there is a chance this is a dude in some kind of big power
cyber armor.
There is a chance this is falling more into like some kind of Astartes, Space Marines kind of thing. I'm not sure.
You don't know. Yeah. You can't tell. Yeah.
It could be a robot. It is pretty flexible and for a robot perhaps, but hey, robots can be
also with the shape of his chest and whatnot. He could also be kind of transformery too. Could
be. Yep.
Oh.
So I'm going to go again. I'm going to say robot. The chat, you can let us know what you think on this one. Regardless, robot or not, now this is a very cool album. Side A in particular on this one. I love the tracks here.
Gundam suit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they had changed vocalists for this album compared to the first two. The first two albums are good too. Nothing wrong with them at all. I like Freedom's Rise a lot. But they did go in a different direction here, and I think they really nailed it. I like this sound. It was probably, looking back, it was probably a little dated sounding by the time this came out. Metal was already moving on past this style pretty rapidly. So I understand why this album didn't necessarily gain a lot of traction at the time. But yeah, still a really solid slab of U.S. power metal from the mid-late 80s. Let's see, trying to check up on the chat here. Any serious...
Mel said Gundam suit. Jeremy said Liege Lord 1000% robot.
Yeah. Gundam suit is not out of the question. That very much, that is a possibility. I'm not going to rule that out, but either way, it's probably close enough for our work here tonight. And it looks
like robot wins out. It looks like most people are saying robot. So
it still fits in our theme tonight.
Yes. We did say, although it hasn't really come up yet, but we did say that Mecca could count as robots. So, and Gundam, you're kind of getting a little in between there. So yeah, they're different styles of robots. It's kind of hard to draw the line sometimes.
Right on.
But Marty, I will while we debate all those things in the chat, I'll pass it back over to you.
Well, this is
Marty. What do you got?
This is probably the third one I picked, but it was shouted out earlier in the chat. But it's a good one. Suffocation's Effigy of the Forgotten.
Oh, good pick. Someone mentioned that in the chat. Yeah, just a little bit ago.
This is a killer cover too. Great album, killer cover. If you're this actually. I always thought this was a Russian boot too, but it says it's on Morbid Noise. I have no idea what pressing this is. I have no idea if this is legit or not. It looks good. It also has the Human Waste on here. For those of you who don't know, you live under a rock. Suffocation, New York style, brutal death metal, purveyors of the sound, often imitated. I want to say rarely replicated, but I don't know if that's true. There's so many bands that try to sound like Suffo. They kind of stole their sound from them a little bit. The Cannibal and Suffocation sound has been quite widely ransacked, we could say. But this is a great record. When it came out, I bought it on tape, was kind of burnt out on the sound kind of quick, but in my later years, I've circled back around to Suffocation and really found a newfound appreciation for the riffage. Mike Smith's drumming and Frank's vocals. I mean, these guys are still doing it for a reason. They're definitely at the head of the list of influential legacy brutal death metal bands for sure.
Yeah, it's real funny. I ran into the same problem you did. I just got very burned out on that style by the mid 90s. The area I was in, nobody ever really played Suffocation. That area was so fixated on Cannibal Corpse, which is probably why I've just never really cared for or circled back to Cannibal Corpse. But then even Suffocation didn't get anybody's attention. So it was all Cannibal all the time on the college radio show and stuff for heavy metal. And it's weird looking back that Suffocation got so overlooked in that area. It seems like it would have been a perfect band for a lot of people where I was living at the time. And they just never came up. And as such, they're a band I've never really gotten familiar with their catalog.
I gotta say, Wilson, it probably is a bootleg, and it's done really well. Bootleg or not, it's done quite well. I have it on tape, and my tape is kind of a little bit warped, so I've bought it originally, and it's nice. It's nice to have it on CD. Bootleg or not, vinyl would be better though.
Agreed.
Anyway, Duane is back.
All right. Okay, so this is going to be a twofer. But this is all relating to that Crimson Glory here. So the first one I'm going to show, the reason I love that Crimson Glory cover also is because, and the same reason I love this cover too, and it's my two favorite color combos is purple and black. I love purple and black together.
Yeah.
But this is Triumph and Tragedy by Hittin'.
Oh, I
And
don't know this
see the reference here to the robot
one.
From Autograph.
She's even wrapped with wires that are, they got electricity jolting out of them, et cetera, et cetera. But very similar to the kind of robot style that Autograph used. But again, so if you look at the color scheme here between these two, it's that purple and black.
It's the same damn color scheme. Exactly.
Same color scheme, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that hidden. But then I'm also going to show this. And this is very, we talked about it earlier, Silver Surfery. Okay. And that's Crystallize, Starborn Traveler.
Huh.
And again, it's that same kind of soaring through space.
Yeah.
Very cool. Never heard of them either.
You've never heard of Crystallize?
No.
Oh man.
I've heard the name, but I don't know the music. Now, Hidden, I've never even heard of. What's Hidden's story?
Oh, really? Hidden, new wave of traditional heavy metal.
Okay.
Band. Crystallize, they've been around for a little while. They actually do a track on here. The reason I bought this album, called is it Bedside Radio? No, Midnight Radio. And there's a video for it on YouTube, and it is an absolute 80s throwback, meant to be 80s throwback, 80s metal comfort food video. I mean, it's and they they pay homage to all the legends in it and whatnot. So really, really cool band though. Traditional metal, borderline a little bit of power metal here and there. But that track is very 80s throwback. It's a standalone track on here that's in that style. Everything else is kind of more power metal-y. But yeah, check them out. Check them out, Crystallize. But those two albums kind of go with this. So
right on. All right, Alan.
All right. Well, Marty, you've mentioned a death metal one. I did not find as many.
Duane has unleashed the houndlings of hell over in California.
Yeah. Someone must be near the front door.
They're not big hounds, but hell is unleashed regardless. Anyway, sorry, Alan.
Eagles.
I know. It is all good. Yeah, I didn't know how many. So we found almost no traces of robots in black metal. We're finding a few more in death metal. I think the only one I pulled is a classic, Nocturnus.
Bastard.
Sorry, I've left it sitting here for a while, but yeah, definite robot thing kind of going on here. Don't know the exact inspiration if they took this from something. It's very
cool,
reminiscent to some degree of like the Necrons from Warhammer 40K, but I don't know if the Necrons had been written into the lore when this came out. I think they were probably worked in a much later edition of Warhammer. But regardless, yeah, Nocturnus was obviously sort of infamous for working in a lot more science fiction into death metal rather than just the satanic stuff or just the zombie gore kind of stuff, and they did it incredibly well. It was if you want to call it a gimmick, okay, but it's a gimmick that worked, and they knew how to execute it, and it's always been a classic. And it's just a badass album cover, regardless.
It's
lots
great.
Of cool, lots of cool detail there. You still have the kind of little pseudo satanic pentagram thing worked into the band logo. So yeah, a neat one, a classic. I'd probably actually play the second album more, which I know that one is a little hit or miss for a lot of folks, but that one just has a giant spaceship on the cover. And tonight we're sticking to the robots, so had to pull this one.
Looks like the exact same spaceship that's on the cover of that Crystal Age album.
Yes, the Crystal Age artwork is a very similar cover, and both of the spaceships on both of those, again, look very, very Warhammer inspired. It's not an exact copy of one of the ships to my knowledge. If anybody knows for sure, feel free to point it out in the chat. My Warhammer knowledge is pretty shallow overall, but it definitely has, the look of a lot of the Warhammer art once you get into the spaceship designs and the interplanetary travel. Yeah, everything with Warhammer is either a giant spaceship, a giant monster, or a giant robot, or a giant man wearing power armor. There's basically 4 categories of Warhammer art.
And I was recently in a games shop here just up the road. My kid was looking at games and stuff, and they've got a huge section of Warhammer, and I'll tell you what, they don't give that shit away.
Games Workshop for 40 years has been people have complained loudly about the price of their shit for
and you have to paint the shit yourself. Fuck that.
And that is why I never got into Warhammer. If I'm going to pay you $56 for 3 1-inch statues of goblins that aren't even posable, they're just like little die cast pewter, whatever the fuck they're made out of, you're going to paint that shit for me.
Exactly.
I ain't doing that on my own.
Fuck it up is what I'm going to do. That's what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, I couldn't do that if I wanted to.
No.
And I always thought that was interesting that somehow they took this huge negative that you got to paint yourself and literally made it into like a positive. It's like, oh no, you don't have to paint it yourself. You get to customize them. You can paint them any way you want. And 1,000 fanboys lost their shit and bought 1,000 paintbrushes and spent $1,000 on paint. And 40 years later, it's a thing. For folks that are into it, it's great. I don't have the hand-eye coordination. I don't have the eyesight to do that kind of little detailed work, even if I wanted to. But no, Marty, you are right. I was at the local game shop this weekend. My little boy was playing Pokemon there, and I just I happened to wander into the game workshop section. They had a set of 6-sided dice. Just 6-sided dice. The only thing that makes them different from the dice in a Monopoly set is, they're painted, colored a little different. And on the side with the 6, it has the little chaos symbol. Other than that, this is just a normal, there's 15 6-sided dice in this little blister pack. $35 for a set of 15 dice because they're painted differently and have a little chaos symbol on the side where there should be 6 pips.
It's crazy.
$35 fucking dollars. I'm just like, God.
You think they want to make that shit affordable so it actually encourages people to play it, as opposed to a bunch of like old farts that are established and have expendable cash?
Well, you would think, but the every time they release something new, unless it's just an absolute stinker, that shit it's like metal vinyl. The pre-orders alone, that shit sells out just faster than they can put it on the websites. Yeah. Every time they release something new, it crashes the Game Workshop website. Stores have to pre-order, and like, we got 3 copies of this one book. It's $170 because it's like, leather bound with actual Astartes genome material worked into the, black carapace, binding, and they will have them all sold a week in advance. The space nerds will show up and say, shut up and take my money as fast as they can roll it out.
Well, that's cool. Like Wilson here says, that I get into Warhammer just for the killer. I mean, it is killer art. It's killer.
Oh yeah.
It's just they make you pay for it,
Oh yeah. It's a very interesting universe to dive into. Also, we're not going to turn this into a Warhammer stream at all, but it's been around for 40 years. They've got an extremely expansive universe, much like with Marvel or DC universe. And there are some very clever things about the way they set up, the history, because it's a long history. You're covering literally about a minimum of 10,000 years, and really more like true 40,000 years worth of human history. And you'd think it would be hard to keep it all straight, but they have some very clever things they built in early that allow them to retcon and change things very easily without it feeling like the comic book universes, where it's just like, we'll do this big story arc, but at the end, it's all going to turn out to be a coma fantasy, or we'll go back in time and undo it all. Warhammer avoided all that. They were very clever in the way they set up their history so that they could change old story elements without it feeling like they were just jerking you off every time they did so. But yeah, $35 for dice. Think about it. So the next time your spouse, a partner, beloved one, parent complains that you're spending too much money, $45 for a new piece of heavy metal vinyl from Century Media, hey, just tell them I could stuff from Games Workshop. Got to put it in context.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I have derailed us for more than long enough.
What'd you say, Duane?
I said even their damn paint is expensive.
Yeah. It is.
You have to use their own paint to paint those damn things?
No, you don't have to, but it is good stuff. But it's that, if you want to get into it, painting miniatures is a really cool hobby. But man, if you go Games Workshop, like Alan says, you're shilling out the dough. Not a doubt. From the miniatures, the terrain, the paints.
Yeah, you need a degree in landscape architecture just to set up the damn battlefield.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy stuff, but yeah, for fun, it's fun to watch. I've watched people play it and all. I mean, you sit there and measure things as fast as you can, roll a bunch of dice, and knock a bunch of your. It took 15 hours to paint this little goblin. You just kind of flick him to the sideline because he just got blasted because somebody rolled too many fives. But no, it's fun stuff. Okay, Marty,
right.
Let's make this back into a heavy metal podcast. What have we got here?
We could always do a role playing games in metal. That will be something.
It will happen sooner or
topic.
later.
Yep.
It will. It might be a good one to bring Duane back for.
It would be. Yeah.
There you go.
Duane would be a good one to bring back for just about any of them. So just keep your
that is true.
Keep your Fridays clear, Mister.
Anytime.
Duane is a metal man of all seasons.
Absolutely. Okay. This was kind of an obvious one of the first ones I pulled as well. Vic Rattlehead goes robotic on Dystopia.
Oh, I know that one, but I didn't think of that one. That's a good one. Yeah.
I thought about it by past. So okay.
I was really late to this record. I kind of in my head said, after 13 and Super Collider, I don't care about Megadeth anymore. I don't know, but
I actually like Super Collider.
I need to revisit it, I guess. And I don't own that one. I don't own 13, but I found this used and it's good from start to finish. It's a ripping ass Megadeth record. It's really good.
That's the first one with Kiko guitar, right? Yeah, he's really good with Dave.
He's really good, and they won a Grammy. And not only is Vic a robot, you got these, well, I guess they could be drones, but they're robots, I guess, flying around here. And he's holding a amputated Lady Liberty robot head. So it's cool. Cool cover. Modern style. It fits the album well. This is a good record. Yeah, post-apocalyptic, absolutely. It's a good record. The last album before this, I really liked Endgame. I really liked The System Has Failed. I thought those were both really good records. And like I said, 13 sounded tired. Super Collider, and there's a couple others I'm missing. I have a few holes in my Megadeth collection, but doesn't beat the first couple. That's for sure. I'm one of those guys. All right, Duane.
Okay, this one, hopefully just robot parts count. But this is one of my German metal favorites. Unfortunately, the band was very short-lived. They only had 2 releases, but this is Changing Times by Mania. And these guys are very Helloween as well. Is that
the German band?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that a noise pressing?
Yes, sir.
Fuck, man.
And so
that's cool.
The first one is Magic Kingdom. I can't remember, but what I like about this record, so you got the little goblin guy down here. He's actually on the first album. And the title being Changing Times, you have like the medieval times down here, and then this robot hand coming up and pulling that time away and revealing the future. Thus, Changing Times is how I'm taking it. But you can see the Helloween to these guys just in their back here.
Is it Scan or is it Helloween? It's hard to tell.
Yeah, So, but yeah, noise. But
is it the real live version of Massacres from Beyond? Maybe.
But obviously, very cybernetic hand there, an arm or whatever. So, but great album. Great album.
I think Jurgen's shown that a few times, or once or twice too, and I'm always like, damn it! I remember. Don't they have a song called "Breakout" or something? Is that on that album?
Breakouts? No, that doesn't sound familiar.
Don't they have a song on the
I would say
Doomsday News?
No, the one on Doomsday News is Gods of Fire.
Oh.
It's got the little kid with the mullet riding his bike to the Mania show.
It's on the second Doomsday News comp, isn't it? I believe so.
It might be the second one.
I was always interested. I need to track that down one of these days.
Yeah, I've never come across it either. Yeah, I think it is on volume 2. It's not on 1, and volume 3 is the live one. So I'm guessing it must be on 2.
All right, good one.
Any Helloween fan, you'd be all over Mania. It's right in that same wheelhouse, without a doubt.
Right on.
Falafel, that is a very appropriate pick, and I am not going to show it.
Do you own it?
No, I don't.
No.
Oh, are you talking about
Digger.
Gravedigger?
Yeah.
Digger, yeah.
Or Digger? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only grave associated with that album is the one they dug for themselves.
Yeah. They righted that ship, though.
The Gravedigger Cold Lake record.
Yeah. You never
That
go
album
full Cold
wishes
Lake.
it was Cold Lake.
All right.
Okay, well, I will see Duane's robotic hand/arm and call with a robotic hand/arm of my own with Lethal's
There you go.
programmed. Yep.
Oh man, you really stretch it with that one. That's a good Queensryche album.
It's a very good, sort of in the Queensryche or heir apparent kind of style of power metal. But yeah, it's definitely meant to be a robot. Right there in the reflection. So it makes you think, man. It's deep. But yeah, the deal with Lethal, if folks aren't familiar with the band, as Marty said, very much playing that kind of Crimson Glory, Queensryche, 80s Queensryche pre-Mind Crime Queensryche stuff. They had a demo before this that was extremely good, but then it took them a few years to get this first album out, because I think this didn't come out until 1990, and the demo is probably like 86, 87.
Oh, Jeremy's contesting your pick. That looks like a foggy reflection.
That is not. It does okay. It does a little bit. Now that is at first glance that's fair, but no, when you look up close, it is definitely jointed. It's lost the detail. Those are not human finger joints or anything. That's metal joints. Sorry, Jeremy. I gotta go deep here, because I used to think when I first got it, I thought it was just like a mirror foggy reflection too, but nope, it's metallic. I know my robot hands. But anyway, yeah, so if Lethal had gotten this out right around 87, 88, when Operation Mindcrime started blowing up big and people were kind of interested in this style, it might have done some things for them. Having it delayed all the way to 1990, it was just, I think, a little too late for them to get to the party at that point.
Do you really think that would have mattered? Because I think the album's great. I own it as well on CD, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a guy that sounds like Jeff Tate.
Yeah. Would they have been as big as Queensryche or something? No, not at all. Would they have gotten enough attention to have put out another album before, it right away in the same style? Yes, I think they, at least in metal circles, they would have gotten, some interest. As it was, they eventually did like an EP. Was it an EP or was it actually an album called like Poison Seed? But it's years later and it's very 90s sounding, metal crap. Yeah, they never had a good chance to do a follow-up because I think because really, if they were going to do a follow-up, that wouldn't have been able to have gotten out until like 92. And of course, by then, metal will, at least, for American bands, they were on life support, especially smaller bands like this. They weren't going to get to put out another album in 92 or 93. But
was that ever on vinyl, Alan?
I don't know. 1990 Metal Blade, this was around the time they had their big vinyl crisis, where Brian Slager.
I was just thinking, I don't think I've ever seen it on vinyl.
I don't know.
You know what? I think it is on vinyl. It seems like I saw it on. I'm like, when I was gonna buy it, I'm like, should I get the vinyl? And Celtic Frosty's got a point. Neither the cover or the Queensryche references. So that if you were flipping through the racks and you pick that up, that there's nothing about that. That album cover is so nondescript. It's like, I mean,
it's a bad album cover.
It's a bad. And as metal is, I'm a guy that prints T-shirts. You look at our album artwork, you have to say, if I'm in a band, I need to have an image that's going to look good on a T-shirt. That is whoever was in the art direction side of the band should be strung out in the street, because it's bad.
Well, keep in mind, it's a Metal Blade release, and Metal Blade cover art often had its problems. Oh, sorry. That's probably
Night
coming
on Brocken, anyone? Yeah.
It might be coming from me. I was trying to see. It looks like there was an LP version pressed, Duane.
It seems like I had seen it because I'm like, oh, but they wanted way too much for it. And I found this for like $5 online. I'm like, oh, yeah, all
Yeah.
day. Yep. All right. Well, this one was mentioned earlier in the chat. This is Infrared Horizon by Artificial Brain. Let me blow myself up here. You got yourself a robot exhibiting what appears to be emotion.
Cool cover.
It's a very cool cover. This came out on Profound Lore. These guys are techie brutal death metal. The singer is also in a band called Afterbirth, which we covered on an episode of Heavy Metallurgy's Album Club. Check it out in the playlist somewhere. It's solid brutal death metal. This was a gift. It was given to me by Zoller in a massive Zoller box, and it's good. It's a keeper. It's really technical. It's really good, but I thought the album cover was quite striking, and it's a striking enough image that they didn't even put a logo or any sort of.
Yep.
It's just a cool image.
Yeah, it is. It's a robot mourning the death of a robot.
Yep.
You know,
things that make you go,
or is he looking at the head of the robot he just killed?
Yeah.
Johnny
Open
Five,
to
not alive.
Yeah. Open to interpretation for sure. But yep, good album. If you're into brutal death metal, techie stuff, this will be right up your alley for sure. I just thought of a couple more I'm going to go grab because I'm running out. I'll be right back.
I know I've got 2 left myself, so
I'll be back.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. So this one, I don't know. I think it's a robot. I don't know. You guys tell me, but this is Neon City by Angel Sword. If I can get that in there. I mean, if you look at the feet, yeah, it's definitely not a suit because no one's feet look like that. Those are claws. So I'm taking this as a robot. You look at the midsection there, the abdomen, the tubes and stuff. I'm assuming this is a robot. But Neon City, obviously, futuristic cityscape with the neon and whatnot. So
I'm willing to go robot on this one. Yeah. I heard some of this. It came up in a YouTube playlist a while back and sounded
Angel
interesting.
Sword, yeah, cool band. The lyricist, I can't think of his name, very unique voice. And at first, it may kind of turn you off because it's just kind of quirky and different. But man, the more you listen to it, the more it grows on you. So their first album has a very the cover reminds me of something that would have been on a cover of shoot, I should grab it. Hold on.
Yeah, while Drain grabs that, thanks again to everybody for tuning in tonight.
Doesn't that look like the cover of, I don't know, maybe like a
Courts of Chaos by Manila Road.
Yeah, I was gonna say Manila Road or
Diamond Head, Borrowed Time, Diamond Head.
Diamond Head, thank you. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. So, but yeah, that's the first album, but this is the second album. So they went with a total sci-fi, theme there. And so,
Duane, you keep up with some really cool metal stuff I've never seen, and cheers for that. I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah, cool band. Give them a listen. Like I said, the vocals may turn you off at first, but the more you listen to it, man, the more it just catches and grows on you. So,
all right, good one. Never heard of. Alan.
All right, this one's waited more than long enough. If you guys were going to show it, you'd have shown it by now. So I feel no guilt going in this direction. We've got. Sorry, my computer's acting just a little squirrely here at the moment. But it is well past time we discussed Black Sabbath.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the real iconic robots in heavy metal.
Never would have thought of that. Good one.
Yeah, famously referred to as, the two robots fucking on an elevator piece of artwork.
Hypnosis, right? Isn't that who did that?
Yep. This is a Hypnosis piece of art. Maybe not their best.
It's
this
interesting.
album, it's interesting, but it's
a very un-Black Sabbath album cover.
Exactly. You're exactly right, Duane. And this is, a Black Sabbath album that already tends to have some strikes against it. So having, the kind of weird album cover to go with what's not necessarily their best set of songs, I'm trying to be polite here. Makes this, for kind of a hard sell. A lot of folks, list this as, one of their least favorite Sabbath albums, especially from, the Ozzy era. But yeah, definitely robots. But we're not done. We're going to actually kind of hit. This will be a 3-for-1 here. So they had obviously kind of touched on robots much earlier with the Iron Man track. Iron Man feels a lot like kind of a big guy, made of lead, all this stuff. If you listen to the lyrics, yes, it's like also human time travel thing going on and stuff, kind of weird, but it very much comes across. I think most people hear that song and they're picturing that it's some kind of big, scary, monstrous robot that's now stomping around, for the future of mankind and all of that. So yeah, in a way, robots have been associated with heavy metal a bit, really since the very beginning.
Yeah.
And Sabbath, brought back, and this one, someone called for this in the chat much earlier tonight, but Sabbath came back to robots much later with their reunion with Dio. On,
I almost bought that CD today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
I like this.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've heard it, but I saw it in the used bin and it was like, I don't know, $6 or $7. I'm like, I should get this, and I passed on it. I'll probably go back and grab it now. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's funny because look at mine's got the yellow sticker.
The same yellow sticker.
The used sticker. Yeah.
On it.
I got it in the used bin for $1 in the around about 20 years ago.
Mine was $6.99, but still worth it.
Oh yeah. It's a good album. It has its ups and downs. For some folks, it's a little slow, a little boring, but I like the heaviness of a lot of the songs. Dio still sounds really good here. You have some good faster songs like TV Crimes. You've got good slower, angry songs like I. So yeah, it's not a perfect album, but I think it's a very good one. I think it gets a little bit overlooked in the Black Sabbath discography simply because it's not from the original run with Ozzy or with Dio. And really, after Mob Rules, people have now, to be fair, I guess people have come around on a lot of the Tony Martin era stuff and such, and that's great. But let's face it, for most people, their interest in Black Sabbath really drops off, especially either after Mob Rules or Born Again. By that point, most folks don't pay a ton of respect to these albums, but Dehumanizer's always been one I liked quite a bit. I
think one of the best Sabbath albums that has aged the best is Headless Cross.
That's a solid album. Really great. Nightwing. Nightwing.
I like Tear too. Tear's really good. It's like their power metal record. It's really good.
Yeah. Tear is good. The subject matter's a little, again, kind of different for Sabbath, but they do it well. It's a very good album. It's just, it's a little different hearing them sing about, Viking-y kind of stuff.
I love it. Everybody's got it. Like DG Charles says, Headless Cross is my favorite Sabbath album. That is a sign of a legacy band. They've gone forever, and there's people that connect to every era of that band. Whether most people would hate that era, DG likes it. I've come around. I used to hate it. I've come around on it big time. I'm like, wow, this shit is actually really good. Sometimes it takes time and maturation to really start to appreciate what an artist. I can't, being in a band myself, Duane, I'm sure you've been in bands growing up and doing stuff too.
Yeah.
For a band to go the distance, for being kids to old men playing metal music, they're not all going to be winners. They're not always going to have the same core band members unless you're U2 or whatever. And the fact that they're still putting out records that still resonate with a whole different demographic of people. It's pretty impressive. You got to give any band props for that. Like Metallica, love or hate what they're doing, they're still doing it, and they're still packing football stadiums, soccer stadiums in Europe. So, cheers to that.
Yeah.
I love
Taylor
Beagles,
Swift
by the
is
way. I
too,
love hearing
so-
them cry in the background. This is so funny when they
Driving me nuts. I was looking on my Ring camera to see what are they barking at, and there's a random. I don't know if he's a pit bull or what. Because he's got a collar and tags on, but he keeps coming up to my Ring camera at my front door, so my dogs see him through the window, and that's just driving them nuts.
Oh, I love It's so funny.
Yeah, beagles are very boisterous.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
But I love them to death.
All right. Why this one wasn't on my first round is crazy, but this just came to mind, and maybe not as good as their second album, but this is another classic. Dutch death metal band Gorefest with Mind Loss.
Oh yeah.
I don't. It's more of a sculpture, but it's kind of a robot thing, like a robot Play-Doh Fun Factory. You got the crap coming out of it.
Robot Play-Doh Fun Factory. I love it.
These guys are great. Their first two albums are classics. The record that came after the Erase is a complete shimmering turd of a record. They got back together. They wrote two great albums. They ended with Rise to Ruin, which excellent. My band, The Glorious Dead, we took our namesake off of the first song on the second Gorefest album. But yeah, awesome Dutch death metal. Love it. Great stuff. Brutal, brutal, memorable, riffy, old school, sick and old death metal. Love it.
Good call. North of the Rockies has a good one here. None of us have mentioned Agent Steel yet. That big locust thing on Mad Locust Rising.
Oh yeah, and then the Omega
Conspiracy.
Mega Conspiracy's got a robot on it too.
Is that a robot or an alien? I don't remember.
Let me pull it up here. Agent Steel. For a while, Agent Steel changed its name to Order of the Illuminati. I saw them when they were Order of the Illuminati.
Oh really?
Mega Conspiracy. I am going with robot. Here, hold on. Maybe not. Actually, let me pull it up. We'll put it up to the class.
Pull it
here.
up for a vote.
Yep.
I always assumed alien, but that may just be a bias because
I
it's
think
Agent Steel
it's an alien in a bio suit. It's hard to.
Yeah, I think I'd go alien on that one myself.
Yeah, I think it's alien.
Ooh, that's tough.
You can make a case. Yep.
That is, I would call that's very Geiger biomechanical. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Marty, can you jump over to Mad Locust Rising? Let's just confirm
Hold on
that
one
Locust
second.
is.
I can actually grab I have two versions of that record.
Okay, well, if you want to pull that one in a second, yeah, that'd be fine.
Oh, yeah, because what's on Metal Archives is a tape cover. Hold on one second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm going to guess alien in suit for Omega Conspiracy, but that's it could be a robot inside a suit to trick people into thinking it's an alien and not a robot.
Or it's
We just went through the fourth wormhole here.
I would say it's a robot locust. Oops, let me blow myself up here.
That's looking pretty robot-y.
Yep.
It's flying around in space. It's flying around in the vacuum of space. So
is it crystal?
No. It's a robot. It's hard to say. I would say robot, but it's hard. It's kind of nondescript. Why do I have two copies of this? One of them is a blue vinyl, which is kind of rare for old records, and the other one's just a black radio promo.
Very nice.
Pretty cool. I'd say robot locust. Hail John Cyrus before he went crazy. That guy was a Skeptic's Apocalypse. What a record. Holy shit.
Frank, is that guy, is that a robot samurai? Or is it just a samurai? I'm not, I'll go look at that while Duane does his
because that's stumping me too.
I was assuming it was just a samurai. I'll grab that real quick.
Okay.
Right behind me.
All right, Duane, you're up.
Okay, this is Chains of Delusion by Deceptor.
That's a robot. A big one.
Yeah, it makes me think of like Mecha Godzilla. You know, it's got that, especially when you look at his claws, his feet, like kind of has that Mecha Godzilla look to it.
Oh, nice. Yep.
But this is a Shadow Kingdom band.
Ah, right on.
So you can see the back there with the scorpion tail and wings. So I don't know if this thing's supposed to be like a robotic chimera or something. I don't know, but he's big and bad, like a Godzilla-sized critter. So
what does that band have? What does that band have going on? New wave of traditional metal?
No, they're kind of heavy. They're not quite death metal. They're kind of in their own category. It's like a real heavy traditional metal, just really kind of heavy and maybe a slice of doom in there, but they're kind of their own thing.
Huh.
Check it out, Deceptor. This is the only album that I'm aware of also. So this came out, when did this come out? 2012. 2013. Actually, if you got the site up, take a look and see if they have anything else.
Hey, Jack, thanks a bunch. Yeah, I showed Effigy earlier. Thanks so much for the super chat. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Jack.
Awesome.
That rules.
Good to see you join in the chat. Let's see, and Yar's Revenge. That ruled. That I wonder if that was the inspiration for the big locust on Mad Locust Rising. Because basically, in Yar's Revenge, you're a giant space locust, and blowing stuff up. That was a fun Atari game. You can't say that about a lot of those old Atari games.
No, but back then, when that's all you had, everything was like, "Oh, the graphics are great."
Oh yeah, back at the time we played them forever. When you look back at them, it's like this game sucked.
I remember saving up money and getting Pac-Man and putting it on for the first time, going, "Huh." I still played the shit out of it, but it was like, "Huh."
Pac-Man you could kind of have fun with, but then there was like the E.T. game, which oh my god, you did absolutely nothing.
Or what is it, Adventure? Or
Adventure
with the duck dragons. You're like, what the fuck am I even supposed to do on this thing?
Yep.
Yeah, you're just a square.
Yeah.
room and
that was not a good game. That was one of those big white cartridges, wasn't it? Like a Coleco cartridge or something?
No, I think it was a regular, just black.
It was a regular.
Was it a regular?
It was a regular one. Yeah.
We had
that was back when you were playing a video game, but you still had to use your imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sister and I, it was one like Adventure, and because like the artwork, like on the sticker, it has like a guy and there's like a green serpent thing kind of wrapped around him. But when you played it, it was really similar to that because you just like sort of amazed, but you're just like this little blob, and you move at the speed of 2. And these other little blobs would kind of chase you. And really all you could do is just like, can I run across the room slightly faster than the little blob that's following me across the room? And it was just a horrible game. I wonder what that was. I'm pretty sure it was one of those white cartridges that was done. It wasn't, an actual Atari cartridge. It was ColecoVision
and those were always harder to get into the machine. You remember those? They didn't fit in the same. You had to really kind of,
they were a little
jimmy them back and forth to get them in there. Yeah.
Yep. But if someone in the chat probably knows, if you,
I think it was Activision cartridges had like a little flat.
Yep.
Into them.
They were kind of like ramp. They had like a ramp on the end. Yeah. And they had some fun games.
You want to talk about? Atari 2600. I grew up with it. That's it was like I couldn't wait to get it. I had a friend that had it in television. You want to talk about shitty graphics? and a Joy-Con that was like a Texas Instruments calculator with a disc on it. It's like, what the fuck am I? We're playing ski. I'm like, oh, the graphics. Even for an Atari 2600 guy to say the graphics suck on this that's bad. That's really bad. But
You had the number pad that you had to put the little inlets in. To,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then there was a buddy of mine that ended up getting a ColecoVision. And it was like I was playing the arcade like Donkey Kong. Like, oh my God. I just wanted to go home and chop up my 2600.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Alan.
All good stuff.
Okay, I
let's
still have another one. I'll be right back.
That's okay. Now let's before I show my next one, Frank brought this up. So let's decide. Tokyo Blade. Here's the samurai. Is this a robot or is this a guy in a samurai armor?
Oh,
I don't know.
That's tough.
It's tough. The eyes look like they are kind of glowing red. So
You
maybe
know,
the
it
airbrush.
almost looks like a possessed samurai.
But you could be it does look like it's wearing a mask, because there does look like there's a border change here between the maybe the face and the mask. I'm not sure why a robot would need to wear a mask,
Yeah.
except to look like a samurai to trick people into thinking it's not a robot again. I'm not sure. I'm going to stick to samurai here because just if nothing else, the band's theme was very Japanese, and so samurai makes sense. I don't think we have to work robot in to explain this one. But it's a fair question, Frank. I'd forgot the eyes had that kind of glowing.
Yeah, I would say we're going to leave that one up to interpretation. There's no correct answer on that one, I think.
A case can be made for robot there. Okay, but let's see. What else have I got here? Oh, this kind of goes back to the Silver Surfer mode of robot. Royal Hunt. This kind of prog metal band, a lot of keyboards and stuff, but really good music. I really like most of their albums. I think the main guy's name is Anders Ackinson. They've had several different vocalists over the years, but they always have a really good singer. They did a couple of albums with kind of a very sci-fi leaning vibe. And this one's got kind of it's the second one, but it's got a few songs from previous albums, a few live songs, a few remakes with the new vocalist kind of doing songs from like that were in the catalog with the former vocalist. But the artwork and some of the songs here were very inspired by Ray Bradbury.
Okay.
And this one, the other one shows like a big spaceship, but this one called The Watchers, it definitely has, one of those kind of more silver surfery looking robots.
iRobot kind of thing.
Yes, very much so. And so, for considering, again, with it being kind of a collection disc with a lot of odds and ends, it's actually a pretty good set of songs. This is the kind of thing even for bands I like, I will usually pass on picking these up. But I do like this collection by Royal Hunt. This was the John West era of the band, if I'm right. It's been a while since I've played Royal Hunt. I've been meaning to go back through their catalog. But now all this may sound pretty cool so far. Sci-fi, Ray Bradbury, robot cover, all that. They do lose some points for this one.
Goth Attack.
Yeah.
Dude, I was going to wear that same shirt tonight. I'm glad I didn't. I'd have been real embarrassed.
In case anybody was ever wondering, goth glam sleaze is actually a thing look you can go for.
You know what's funny? They all look the same with different wigs on.
Maybe they're mannequins. Or robots.
Let's get Tim in here to figure out the whole mannequin thing. Give him the field test. Robot or mannequin? Tim will be the decision here.
Tim was that kid who stood a little too close to the mannequins in Sears when nobody was looking.
Why is that kid over there filling up the JCPenney mannequin? Oh, that's just Tim. We're doing research, field research.
We're just joking, Tim.
We're just kidding,
Tim. Tim is as hardcore one of the heavy metallurgists as anybody out there. Always good to have him in the chat. Yep.
Usually always the first one to sign in, too. Cheers to you, brother.
Almost always, yes. He was late tonight, but that's okay. Sometimes you got other stuff going on. But yes, notice the band photo is on the inside of the Royal Hunt, so it can sit on your shelf and nobody has to know it's in there unless you open the case. But yeah, a cool band with a lot of cool music if you don't mind keyboard driven, prog metal, prog with the lowercase p as a genre.
I don't mind that stuff at all. You bet.
All right, Marty, you went and found something else you just thought of. What did you find?
Someone mentioned it in the chat. It's funny because I have a giant poster, like a door-sized poster of this artwork, and I didn't even think of it. I'm sitting right next to it. Massive killing capacity. Dismember, massive killing. Is that a mech, or is there a dude in there, or is it just a giant killing robot? I don't know, but
if it's coming at you, you don't care either way.
You don't care either way, but
I would guess Mecca, but mechs are allowed tonight, so it's all good.
Yep, very cool cover art. Probably one of my least favorite Dismember albums when they try to go groovy like Entomb did. Still, it's Dismember. MKC is 1,000,000% a robot. Okay, it's a mech, it's a robot. The jury's out, but either way, it's a good record. But one of my least favorite Dismember records. Still good stuff. I have a couple more, unless I think of more. Unless you guys think of more too. Duane, you're up if you got more.
I've got one left, and I had to bust open the cheese drawer for this.
I like the cheese drawer.
No, this is some Gouda. Okay.
my kid was jamming some Twilight Force earlier tonight, and I'm like, this is good. So good.
Right. Well, yeah, maybe close. Okay, maybe
that's
close.
More of a Velveeta strain.
It definitely classifies as robot.
There you go. Yep.
Dragon
Force.
I
forgot about that Dragon Force album.
Into infinity.
Yep. Right on.
I can appreciate some Dragon Force.
So, and I love the futuristic cityscape on the back too.
Mm-hmm.
But
is it a good record?
It's Dragon Force.
Okay.
It's your if you want to feel happy and it's good. That's good. That's good. That's
right
good.
On.
If you understand what you're going to be listening to when you put it on, you'll enjoy it.
Me and the kid have been jamming the crap out of the new Angus McSix record, so I'm down with the happy. I'm down with happy cheese. It's all good.
Hey, laser shooting dinosaur. That's kind of like a cyborg dinosaur.
It totally is.
That
absolutely.
Could count.
The T-shirt. You should see the
cyborg.
T-shirt design for that. I should have got the kid one. Had him come down and model it.
Nice.
All right, Alan.
All right. Since we all seem to be working through sort of is it a robot or a mech suit? Another one in that same vein, Jag Panzer's Mechanized.
I almost called that.
Did you?
Yep.
I don't. This is one Panzer. I thought I had this, but it's not on the shelf. So if I did, I must have traded it at some point. But yep, fits the category. This one, again, the head face things looks kind of more biologic, but anytime they've got guns for arms, you're very much in some kind of Mecca Jaeger suit kind of territory for sure. So I figured it counts. Jag Panzer has a new album coming out this summer, which is why they kind of popped to mind with this topic. The new one doesn't have a robot on the cover, so couldn't show the new cover art for that one. But obviously long-running U.S. power metal band. They've done a lot of good albums over the years. This is a great example, though, of one of those bands that they will always live in the shadow of their debut album. They can never get out of that influence.
That was actually a question I had coming for you, actually.
Oh, go ahead.
Knowing how much you love the debut album, have you kept up with them over the years? Because they still put out records. They're not bad. I've had a handful of them. Is it something I want to continuously listen to? No.
It's different.
Mm-hmm.
More modern.
Different.
Yeah, no, yeah. I've kept up with most of them. They're not bad at all, but they just they have the Guns N' Roses problem. The first album it doesn't matter what else they make. It will never ever measure up to the very first album they released, and they're just kind of stuck there.
Did you pick this up, Alan? The High Roller.
I did not. I thought about it, but I've got so many versions.
He's got already. Like 12 versions of the vinyl.
Yeah, right.
I'm on 11 now. Let's be reasonable.
Oh, I was close.
I have not reached a dozen different versions of Ample Destruction yet.
What's
It's
special?
not
about
that I haven't tried, but the couple that I'm missing are pretty expensive.
What's special about that CD version?
The packaging.
Ah, okay.
And then there is, I think there's the bonus disc of some demo material and crap like that. But I was in Amoeba, and it was like in their clearance section for like $11 or something. And I was like,
nice.
I'm taking that. You know.
Oh, yeah, I would. Yeah, why wouldn't?
But
All right, Laz, you're up.
well, that was my last one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that I was going to pull, but it's really not metal. But, you know, when the topic first hit, the very first album I will always think of when it comes to a robot on the cover has got to be Queen.
Folks have been calling for it tonight. Yep.
Or Kraftwerk's Man Machine. Is that the name of the album? With the song "We Are the Robots." Doot, 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 doot. That's another Euro weirdos.
Oh, I love Kraftwerk, and I'm trying to think of that album. I always think of the "I'm the Operator with My Pocket Calculator," that track, that Green album with the computer on it.
We're outside Alan's wheelhouse. I cannot help. Sorry.
Let me pull it
This
up.
does
here
not compute.
That in Tour de France or Tour de Force or what was it?
Right here, the Man Machine. Yeah, this has got the song "We Are the Robots" on it. It's very, very sterile electronic music with them talking like this. Doot, doot, doot. I mean, it's very, you know, it's cool. It's a good album, actually.
Yeah, they were the first synthesizer group. I mean, you know, German group and just completely out of left field. And I mean, there would be no Devo if it wasn't for those guys.
Oh, absolutely. But that Queen record, I thought of that too. The giant robot holding the in the yeah.
News of the World, I think, is that one. Or,
yeah.
I don't know. Wrong.
I don't own any Queen.
I own some early Queen, but yeah, I'm not good on that era.
All right, Alan, how about you? You got more stuff?
I got a few things I can wrap up pretty quick here. Just finishing up a chat response. So let's see. A few things to bring this to a close with. I got 2 songs we haven't mentioned and 1 album. So last album is Viruses.
Oh, hold on.
First one, Pray for War. This is a UK, started out as more like a punk band and drifted more and more thrash as time went by. This is in a 3-album set that came out last year that's got their first 3 albums in it. This first album, it's not necessarily a robot on the cover, but lyrically it's a little bit of a concept album, and it's very much the Terminator kind of story, you know, computer AI, you know, taking over, you know, destroying mankind, post-apocalyptic Terminator, Mad Max kind of stuff. So yeah, the concept of the album very much fits. It's also the best of of these 3 albums as far as I'm concerned. It's still got, you know, kind of a good raw thrashy sound. This one, they start cleaning up the sound a lot.
I have that one on vinyl, and I was
going to say that cover looks familiar to me. That one there.
Yeah, it's like average thrash in the UK. Man, I've said it time and time again. The UK thrash was always kind of late to the party. Anyway.
Yeah. This one is kind of like a little bit, kind of like a very plain Metallica album, and this one, you know, they're again trying to, you know, sound a little more advanced and high-minded, but it's okay. But yeah, this one I do like though. This has enough of kind of a good raw thrashy vibe to it to be fun. 2 songs that we haven't mentioned. We've touched, you know, a few Blade Runner references. Charles pointed out that Blade Runner's Hunted also has robots on the cover. I thought of that one briefly because I saw it in a store not long ago, but then I never circled back to it. So good call, Charles. Blind Guardian did a Blade Runner song with Time, What is Time, the lead track off of this album.
Oh, shit.
Yep. This one, if we're counting cyborgy type things, I don't know what the Blade Runner things are. Not really robots. I don't know if they even count as cyborgs. They were. I mean, that was kind of the whole point. You know, are they human? Are they more human than human? What are they? How do they fit in? But yep, thought that one deserved a shout out. I always thought it was very cool that Blind Guardian, you know, tackled, you know, a lot of the different sci-fi things, Dune and Blade Runner and stuff, as well as, you know, the medieval side of, you know, wizards, goblets, elves and men and all that kind of stuff.
Go check out our deep dive on Blind Guardian with S. Craig Zoller. It's somewhere in the heavy metallurgy.
Yeah, it's been
list.
a while. You might have to dig back a bit, but that was a good one. And then I'll admit I'm surprised this one made it all the way to the end tonight. But we have Scorpions, Robot Man, off of In Trance. Now, this is not In Trance, of course. This is
In Trance is one of my favorite Scorpions records. That is
In Trance is good, absolutely. But they did the song Robot Man, which should obviously get a shout out for the robot topic tonight. For anybody who's never checked out 70s era Scorpions and you feel like, there's a bunch of albums and
right there with Rainbow, man. It's just,
it's great stuff. And this is a really nice collection to introduce you to the 70s era. It doesn't cover all the albums, but it covers a lot of the really good songs from like Virgin Killer, In Trance, and one or two of the other albums.
Vicious Attack's a good one too. Sales of Karen, really good.
I gotta show it since you brought it up.
I've been looking for that on vinyl, and it's not cheap. I have not. I have a cassette of it, and it's great.
I had the album years ago, but it was kind of a rough copy, and I eventually. I don't know if this one does have some stuff from Catch the Rainbow.
We even have this one, Marty.
Oh yeah, Virgin Killer, yeah.
Yep.
Hello.
Scorpions album covers. That's a problem there. But
that album cover never would have flown in today's climate. That's for damn sure.
I don't know how it flew even in that climate.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one.
Well, it didn't. That's the thing. It tried and got yanked, but yeah.
But for anybody who wants to check out 70s era Scorpions just to get a good feel for it overall, the Hot and Slow collection is a really, really good cross section for most of their albums. You don't get anything from Lonesome Crow, but that's a completely different beast. So I understand them leaving it off. I'm trying to remember if there's anything from Taken by Force on here. There may be, but they may have left that one off. So it may be everything up, and so it may be everything in between those two albums. But Robot Man. Got to mention the Robot Man song on the Robot Show.
Ryan's got a great shout out. Why I didn't think of this is crazy. Cheers to King. Got to give a shout out to the Mighty Deceased tonight for their classic song Robotic Village. Obey, Robotic Village. Yep.
I looked at the Deceased stuff on the shelf and it's like ghost, zombie, ghost, zombie, ghost, zombie. I don't think there's a robot here, and I've missed it. Good call, Ryan. Good call.
Was that on 13 Frightened Souls? I believe so. Anyway.
I think it's either that or Luck of the Corpse. It's not on Luck of the Corpse.
No, it's not on Luck of the Corpse.
Then,
it's on 13 Frightened Souls.
All right, Marty, bring us on home. It's down to you, sir.
All right. I've got two more. One was mentioned in the chat, and it was a great one. Whiplash, Power and Pain.
Oh, yeah.
I always had a problem with this cover. Huh?
I forgot that was a robot hand.
I've always had a problem with this one. I mean, because you consider the size of a human head. And a human head, could be like mine, the size of a fucking pumpkin, or, small people. Some people have smaller heads, but either way, that's an enormous fucking robot hand. It's like a giant robot.
Robots can be giant.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of got that, skinhead right in his grasp for sure. Classic thrash record. This is a ripper from the East Coast. These guys were great, man. The first two in particular were absolute classic US thrash. Didn't get the love that it should have gotten, which is kind of a bummer.
The covers for all three of their albums leave a lot to be. Those covers did not sell records.
No, they did not sell records. But the songs on here does. It's absolutely like Ryan says. It's a relentless thrash record.
Yeah.
Stage Bomb, Message in Blood, Warmonger. What a great fucking song. Spit on Your Grave, Nailed to the Cross. This is a classic US thrash record. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, and for anyone looking, again, the old vinyls are expensive, but kind of like the Virus collection, those first three Whiplash albums are out as a 3 CD set last year. So anybody that needs to pick those up, you can get them all in one place for a relatively low price.
And my last one, returning to the well, so to speak, since Alan stole my thunder, but we've got Nocturnus AD with Paradox, their
Ooh,
comeback
okay.
album.
Oh,
It's-
nice. Yep.
Again, and in this case, I'm sorry, but the artwork is better than the album. The YouTube Metal VC hype was saying how this was so great. I bought it on LP thinking, okay, I'll give it, because I've never been a big Mike Browning vocal fan. He plays drums while he sings, so he follows the riffs verbatim. It's really boring. I was hoping for better, but I bought this on vinyl, and I could probably get rid of this and not be sad, because I never listened. I was very underwhelmed. This is where the whole hype machine, lifted this record up. I'm like, okay, I'm getting it. Everybody says it's great. It's not. And I'm too stupid to. The old school doesn't like I still don't like previewing a record before I buy it. It takes away the magic. It just does. I'd rather have someone face to face tell me something, dude, you'll like this. This is going to be killer. I want the neck hairs to stand up, and man, they didn't. The neck hairs like receded back into my skin. It's just a lot of really, there's some cool music on here, but it's just very, Mike's vocal placement is terrible. It's just boring, uneventful.
Yeah, I didn't mind it when it came out. I played it and it was like, okay, it's not
not
amazing,
bad.
but not bad. I have never circled back to it.
Me either.
I played it for a couple of weeks, put it on the shelf, and it has yet to come back off the shelf. So it's one of those albums. Not a bad album, but it's not getting the replays.
DG, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because there's people that say that they prefer Mike Browning's vocals over David Vincent, Morbid Angel, whatever, man. He had an okay voice, but while he's playing drums and singing, it's hard to separate the brain,
Yeah, he did sound pretty good on some of those early Morbid Angel demos.
Yeah, he did.
I'll definitely give him that.
He did.
So I understand why if somebody really just doesn't like David Vincent's voice, I can see why they would go with that statement. But I don't think there's any question for most folks that Vincent's a much better vocalist in general.
Right on. So is that it? Did we clear the field?
Yeah, I'm spent.
I am out of robots.
Right on. Well, we did okay. Oh wait, I have one more.
Go for it.
And it's again circling back. I always thought this one was a little bit more robot, even though there's a little bit of bio going on in there. And the Voivod is a tricky one because he's a virus in one album, and he's this and he's that. Whichever way he can destroy a world, it's the shape he takes.
Even the first album, Roar.
Yep.
I had to look at that and go, okay, no, that's really more kind of like a undead soldier, I think. It's more Scully looking than robot,
Yeah.
Where the two after this are definitely robotic,
Yep.
Yeah, that one's got a real deathcore of Krieg kind of thing going on, but I'm starting to circle back to Warhammer for reasons.
Yeah.
And those aren't robots. They might be clones, but they're not robots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But well, that's it. Duane, thank you again for joining us. A lot of fun as always, and
that was fun.
If anytime
we did better than I thought we would, actually.
Yeah, and as we were going, I was like thinking of other things too. There was a couple things I thought of, and I didn't get there in time, and they slipped my mind. But
the chat helped out a lot too, folks.
The chat was very, very, very important in this one because they definitely like, oh yeah, I'll grab that. They mentioned it in the chat, I'll go grab it. So
yeah, definitely.
It's always great to have you, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, if anybody's missed it, go. Duane's posted some videos lately. He had a cool collection update with Helloween and gamma ray material. Some really neat, unusual items, stuff you will not see in most people's collections.
Very killer collection. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And Alan, you have what's coming up Tuesday for you?
Good question. I've got something, but I don't know what. But yes, there'll be a new video on Let's Talk Metal on Tuesday morning, like there is every Tuesday morning. We should do show notes because the next couple of weeks are going to be a little different on Friday night.
Well, starting Monday, we've got a review up from Simon. We've got a review on Tuesday from Rick.
I was going to say that's something that I want to congratulate you guys on. I've been watching the random reviews by guest spots, and I think those are great. So
yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Keep doing those.
Cheers to people for for wanting to. It's hard enough to find time for people to do videos for their own channel. The fact that they're doing it for us too, it's awesome. So, so those 2 reviews. Wednesday night, we're talking about for the album club. We're talking about Sirenia from Norway. It's a gothic metal band. We're talking about At Sixes and Sevens, their debut album from 2002. Friday, Alan, what you got going on?
Yes, Friday, Marty will be in Louisville. The Glorious Dead is opening up for Panopticon, and I know there's a third band on the bill, and I'm sorry.
Primeval Well.
Primeval Well, yes.
On Saturday.
Awesome.
Yep.
On Saturday. So, yeah, Marty will not be here next Friday night, but I will be here, and Aaron, the metal theologian who's in the chat, and I will be doing a topic. We're talking to a couple of folks about rounding out the party to 3 members. And so details will come, but there will be a heavy metallurgy next Friday at 9 p.m., same as always. Marty, we will miss you. We're going to try to talk about something that, maybe a little outside of Marty's wheelhouse so that he doesn't feel like he's missing out on a topic he really
I don't need to be here. The ship runs perfectly well without me. Trust me.
I don't blame him. Let me see. I could sit here and talk metal, or I could go play some. I think I'd go play some too, Marty. I'm with you.
I don't know. I'm pretty old and fat. The whole staying home and talking about metal is a little bit more interesting topic, but
yeah. But so we'll be doing that. So yes, look for me, Aaron, and special guest to be announced next Friday.
Randy retrospective. It'll be a 20-minute show.
hey, there's a full anthology CD out there, sir. We can, 15 songs. If we spend 5 minutes a song, we can make it work.
Yeah.
But then the following week we're kind of trading places because I've got to hit the road for something on Friday the 26th, and so then Marty will take the helm, and I'll be maybe watching while on the road, maybe not, maybe catching up later.
That week is the next couple weeks are insane. I get home on next Sunday from Louisville, Kentucky, playing the show. And then 3 days later, I'm taking my son, who's 13, to his first concert to see Helloween and Hammerfall in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, so, buddy. Yeah.
Booked a hotel room, a nice room with 2 queen-size beds, so I don't have to sleep next to that farting, stinky little turd. It's going to be cool. Yeah, and Duane, you're going to see them too. Yep.
Yeah, June 3rd, they're playing San Francisco. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yes, I hope you both enjoy the shows quite a bit. They're not playing anywhere within 1,000 miles of me, so I will not be seeing them anytime soon.
We'll take you in spirit, Alan. Don't worry.
Yep, that's you live in the South, you don't see heavy bands or good bands.
I'm surprised they're playing Detroit. I figured they'd go to Chicago, but they went to Royal Oak, which is the nicer part of Detroit. So I'm feeling even better about because I didn't want to take my kid to Chicago. It's a longer drive, and yeah. In fact, another band he likes. What's that band with the dwarfs, Alan?
Windrose.
Windrose is touring the U.S. this summer with Rhapsody of Fire. Oh. And the closest they're coming is Illinois or Indiana or something. I'm just like, because he loves Windrose. He loves Windrose. So
I love Rhapsody of Fire. Rhapsody, Luca Turilli, all of them.
Oh, yeah. It's great. I agree. I've got like 20 of their CDs between the 2 different iterations.
Well, you've only got about half of them then.
I know. It's only half of them. I've made a hell of a dent, but well, anyway, Duane, don't hang up. We're going to talk for a minute afterwards.
Okay.
And everybody, you all rule. Thank you for joining us on another Friday night. Guys, again, thank you as always. We'll see you next week. You got a busy couple weeks coming up, but we're going to be here for you. So cheers.
Everybody, thanks for coming.
Oh, go check out Lazerrus's channel. It's the first link in the description.
Mm-hmm.
He's got, as you can see behind him, he's got an amazing collection, and he's got some great videos. Very passionate metal fan, music fan, not just metal. He listens to a lot of other stuff as well. But cheers, everybody. We love you. Take care. We'll see you soon.